presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It was 40 years ago when the flamboyant rookie named Mark the Bird Fidrich hit the scene and was the talk of Major League Baseball. 10 years ago, a confident rookie, Justin Verlander, came along, and must-see JV TV was born. Now in 2016, rookie Michael Fulmer has made his mark to rejuvenate must-see TV. Fulmer takes to the hill tonight, seeking his 10th win. He'll pitch in Chicago for the first time next on Fox Sports Detroit. And there is Michael Fulmer, Rookie of the Year candidate, making his 11th start on the road, first against the Chicago White Sox in his career. It's game 2 of this 4-game series, Tigers and Chicago White Sox. Welcome inside U.S. Cellular Field along with Jack Morris. I'm Dan Dickerson. Michael Fulmer not just pitching well for a rookie, Jack. He's pitching well. This 10-start stretch is just amazing. What is making him so good?
Well, I think everybody understood that he had a plus fastball and he was able to throw it over in the strike zone. But I think a lot of people are surprised of the effectiveness of that changeup. It's been devastating. It's really added to that fastball. And we're going to take a look at his fastballs. And it's one of those heavy fastballs. I mean, it's in the high 90s, but it seems like he's throwing a bowling ball. That's how effective it's been. And then he learned this changeup, and look at the movement of this pitch. It's just breaking down away. He's got the same arm speed, same arm action. But you can see that he gets around the ball a little bit on that changeup, and the ball just sinks. So that's been a great put-away pitch for him.
Incredible feel for a young man who really didn't throw it much before this year. Well, after a short break, we're going to take it back to our Call Sam Studios and John Keating. Tigers getting ready for game 2 after the rain-shortened win last night. The big hit that delivered the win from this guy. And you know Miguel Cabrera is going to be back in that lineup in the number 3 spot tonight. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations what a bank can be. When it's time, go to Comerica. And enjoy your summer in style with great deals at the Chrysler Summer Clearance Event. Yes, it is still hot and steamy in Chicago. Here's a way to cool off. Early in the morning, bike ramp, bike, Lake Michigan. Not a bad way to start the day. Today's field conditions presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. 85 degrees, feels like 93. It was well over 100 on the feels like index yesterday. Light breeze blowing here at U.S. Cellular Field. Ian Kinsler in that leadoff spot, as he always is. He's leading this offense right now. Here's the Tigers batting order, brought to you by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Miguel Cabrera, the big home run last night. Jose Iglesias has done a very nice job. You look at his numbers from early June. He's been a very consistent force at the bottom part of the order. You see Tyler Collins back in the lineup. Missed the last couple of days with the neck issue. He's getting the start in right field.
And the Tigers will be facing their former #1 draft choice back in 2009, Jacob Turner. These are the numbers he had at AAA this year. And I'm always surprised that a guy comes to the big leagues with numbers like that. He's made one start. This is his first home start here at U.S. Cellular. Hopefully it'll be a good night for the Tiger bats to get going. Now let's take a look at the White Sox starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. Around the left field, it'll be Melky Cabrera, J.B. Shuck in center, Adam Eaton out in right, Todd Frazier at the hot corner, Tim Anderson shortstop, Tyler Saladino at second base, Jose Abreu over at first, and Omar Narvaez is catching to Jason Turner on the hill.
Ian Kinsler with 4 home runs in 7 games in the second half. He is leading this offense right now. However, he has to do it with a big home run like last night. A couple of bunt singles mixed in there as well, Jack. And this is a guy who has been so consistent all year long, but the power that he's provided at the top of the order kind of changes the look of this lineup.
I think that's kind of what sets Ian Kinsler apart as a leadoff man, is the power that he has. 20 home runs for the year already.
First pitch of the game is a fastball strike, and we are underway here at U.S. Cellular Field. So glad to have you along for the second of a 4-game series. Tigers win the rain-shortened game last night 2-1. A sharp slider down and away. I will say the one thing about that start, Jack, that Turner made against the Angels in Anaheim, and he got pounded. 8 runs in 4 innings. The fastball velocity in that one start was noticeably above where it's been in his 52 major league starts. There's a foul out of play.
Well, it seems more and more often you're going to see guys come to the big leagues and try to hump it up a little bit. They seem to gain a little velocity, at least initially. If he's going to extend himself as a starter, you'll probably see it go back to what he's been comfortable with.
6'5" righty into his motion in a half cut. Now 98 on that fastball. We'll have to see if that was just a blip. I mentioned it, Jack, because coming out of high school, this is a young man who supposedly threw in the mid-90s, and we never saw that in his starts, the few starts that he made for the Tigers. And really, the Marlins didn't see it either.
Well, it's kind of like Ian Kinsler. I'm not sure he really picked up that pitch right there. It looked like he was kind of caught in between. Looks like he's got pretty good movement with his fastball. The ball sinks a little bit.
Little soft tap foul. So you see a guy, Jack, mid-90s stuff. Well, at least it is so far, and it wasn't against Anaheim. But not very good numbers, as you said, at AAA.
Well, it's probably due to command more than anything else. There's a lot of guys, you'll see college kids touch 90s, but there's a difference between throwing hard and being able to locate your pitches and understanding the art of pitching. I think that's what separates guys. But scouts today more than ever are looking for those live arms.
Well, that's heavy sink.
Yeah, what I like so far is that
96.
He's keeping that ball down around the knees, and it's breaking down, so it's hard for a hitter, unless you have a swing like Nick Castellanos, where you have that uppercut swing, a lot like Kinsler does sometimes. Hard to get underneath that ball.
Will pop up here, and that'll get safely into the seats for Cameron Maybin. You could see Narvaez, the catcher, making just his second start. He wants Jacob Turner to pound in. He shook him off, and he shook the pitcher off and said, "No, you're coming in with the stuff you've got here early."
Well, and he was able to locate it, and that was a very good pitch right there. It's going to be tough. And you know, the Tiger hitters have to just be patient. You know, try to foul off those nasty ones and see if he makes mistakes. Good one there for Maybin to lay off of.
Been a more disciplined hitter, Cameron Maybin, this year. The walks are up. Most notably, though, the strikeouts are down sharply. Making a lot more contact. Concerted effort to change his swing last year. Soft ground ball here to Frazier. Had to fire on the high chopper. Didn't have much time. He just barely gets Cameron at first. Go back to last night as Miguel Cabrera strides to the plate. There was a good sound of the ball off the bat. Been looking for that for a while, and there wasn't much doubt when it left his bat.
Yeah, James Shield pitched a fairly good game. He got himself out of some trouble, but that one was a mistake pitch that he paid for. That was the game winner right there.
2 home runs for the Tigers in the 5th inning last night. He raced an early 1-0 Chicago lead, and then Mike Pelfrey and Shane Green made it stand up in the rain-shortened game. Waited a long time, and sounded like everybody was willing to wait even longer. And then finally the rain just wouldn't stop, and the game called until after 11. Well, this is definitely a different looking Jacob Turner. He's still just 25 years old. Considered the best high school pitcher in the 2009 draft. Scott Boras was his agent, so the salary demands scared a few people away, or the bonus demands, and the Tigers did end up giving him one of the biggest bonuses, the biggest bonus ever given to a high school pitcher at that time. Perfect pitch.
One thing we're seeing more and more of is pitchers, at least the first time around, throwing Miguel Cabrera fastballs. This one spotted on the outside corner. Pitchers pitch at 98. You stay there, you're going to get a lot of guys out.
An assortment of injuries. Flexor tendon, shoulder last year, basically wiped out all of last year for Jacob Turner. Ground ball here is fair down the third base line. Frazier was well off the line. And Miguel Cabrera is going to cruise into second base with a 2-out double here in the first.
That's just a good sign for Tiger fans to see Miggy being able to turn on that ball on the inner half and drive it down the left field line. They pitched him in. They're throwing him hard. And when he starts getting that barrel and barreling up these balls that are inner half, they'll have to start throwing those breaking ball more. And they'll start hanging them, and the balls are going to start flying a little bit more. So I always say everything starts around the fastball, and when he starts showing that he can barrel those up again, you know he's in a good position to start hitting the ball well.
Given how he'd been pitching the right-handed batters, were you a little surprised to see Frazier so far off the line?
Well, I think they wanted to pitch him away, and the ball came back in. They're going to shift now on Victor. Now, actually, they're going to potentially walk him.
Victor intentionally walked in the game yesterday early. That set up a bases-loaded situation for Nick Castellanos.
You know, I mentioned his minor league numbers and the fact that they weren't overly impressive. We're talking about Jacob Turner here. And yet he is in the big leagues. Well, if you look at Michael Fulmer's minor league numbers this year compared to his major league numbers, it's a black and white difference.
Right.
And so you wonder how that can happen. Sometimes I think the fact that he might not be quite around the plate as much in the minor leagues. The guys are swinging anyway. And you get up here and all of a sudden that command gets a little sharper. I don't know why it happens, but it certainly has happened with Fulmer. And maybe that's what the White Sox are hoping with Turner here.
There's something to work with. He was definitely low 90s when the Tigers saw him. It was only 3 starts when he was 20 and 3 starts when he was 21. But it wasn't as advertised. Coming up from the minor leagues and when the Tigers drafted him. Peel down to first. Doug Edding says he did not go. Jeff Nelson is our home plate umpire today. Nick struck out after the intentional walk yesterday. You know he'd love to come up with a big 2-out hit right here. Take that good feeling away from Jacob Turner right away after his only start was a very shaky one. Well, it was more than shaky. It was a rough one against the Anaheim Angels.
The Tigers haven't got on the board early in a while. They got a chance here in the first inning.
That's a solid .295 for Nick with the consistent power that he's shown this year. Machado's just having a great year. So is Josh Donaldson. Danny Valencia, one of the surprises on that list. Misses at 97, so we've seen consistent 97, 98. Tried to get the swing back on the outside corner, didn't. Now 3-0 on Nick.
Well, he hasn't really shown any off-speed pitch yet. And the slider's been marginal. He's kept it down. It's been out of the zone. So far, you're seeing high velocity, but everything's fastballs.
There's another.
And you can't continue there. When you have a good group of hitters and they see that you can only locate one pitches, guess what they're going to start sitting on?
Do you ever not like being told to intentionally walk someone, Jack, if you felt like you were in a good rhythm early and it looked like he was, even with the double?
There were times, but for the most part, you just have to trust your manager and knowing what he wants to do. And quite honestly, the pitcher's job is not to worry about the guy that you're walking. It's the guy that you're going to get out next. And, you know, you've got to refocus. He was not able to do that with Nick, and he puts him on. Now they're all loaded up.
And another pitch misses. So the 4 wide intentionally, the 4 wide unintentionally. The first one wide to Upton. Justin Upton was hitless yesterday, but he has been stinging the ball since his return Sunday. You see him with the bases loaded, 4 career grand slams.
Pretty good numbers there. 310 average. He just have to kind of keyhole a pitch right here. He's shown that he's been a little erratic. Get something you want to handle. Take 1 pitch, maybe even 2 strikes, and see if you can get to a pitch that you know you can handle.
Well, that was a gift.
Yeah, it's right there. There's some of us pitchers that say part of that ball was in the strike zone.
Oh, boy.
That's not fair. You throw fastball, fastball, fastball. You throw one in the black, and then you throw a real nasty breaking ball right there. That's
still looking to throw one in the strike zone, and it's 1-2.
Jeff Nelson being generous so far.
Now pitch in the dirt. Umpires always talk about trying to find strikes. If the guy is wild, you try to keep that balance between balls and strikes. You don't give gifts if a guy is wild, but you will see this from time to time.
I think it's harder for a guy that throws hard. I really do. Umpires are just like everybody else. You have less time to pick up the ball.
It's a good job wasting a pitch away. And had some nice movement. And Jeff Nelson's already hearing it from that Tigers dugout.
Not sure it's necessary to start chirping in the first inning. You know, I understand it coming from the dugout, but I just don't like seeing umpires turn and start chirping back. Let them vent a little bit. That's part of baseball.
2-2, he got him. Sharp breaking ball down and away, and Turner works out of a bases loaded jam. family heating and cooling electrical. Let's take it down to the field in Mickey York.
An eye on tonight how quickly Michael Fulmer works. Generally, he doesn't like to shake off signs. He likes to get the ball and throw it. Unless he's really intent on a pitch, he'll shake off. He says he likes to work that way because the less he thinks, the better he feels he is. As someone who doesn't like to do a lot of thinking himself, I can certainly relate, Dan.
Nobody likes to be thinking too much, right? Brad Ausmus, very much high praise for the job SALTALAMACCHIA behind the plate is doing with these young pitchers, and now he's caught Fulmer's last 2 starts, Boyd his last 2 starts.
Well, I know a guy that spent his entire career, and he's a great pitcher here for the Chicago White Sox, Mark Burley, world champion here in Chicago. He claims that he never ever shook a catcher. Wow. And that he felt that location was more important than selection, and that he trusted his catcher of knowing what to do. He would study the hitters. They'd go over the plan before a game, and he figured if I can just execute the location, it's way better than the selection. Spent a whole career doing it.
Isn't that amazing?
And he worked fast, and I think that's what Fulmer's real plus out of this whole thing is he's getting the ball, throwing the ball, and the defense is so much sharper when you work fast. They love it defensively.
Eaton 3 for 3 in the game yesterday. 2 ground ball singles and a deep drive for a double. Swing and a miss here to start the game. Let's check the rest of the Sox lineup presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Same as last night except for the catcher Narvaez. The big power threats in the middle. Abreu, not the big threat that he once was. Melky Cabrera solid, but Frazier is the big power threat for the Chicago White Sox. Lineup that has been really fairly pitchable in recent weeks. Ground ball here is up the middle and under the glove of Iglesias. I can't remember ever seeing that from Jose Iglesias. A ball that he had and it went right under his glove.
We'll take another look at it. I think you're right, Dan. That ball should have been caught. Goes right underneath his glove. More than likely would be ruled a hit because the scorekeepers today pretty much say that it's going to be ruled an error.
As it should be.
I think so. But so many scorekeepers say, you know, it's what's the way it's stated, that anything that's out of the ordinary movement, in other words, not just right at you, you have to move to get to the ball.
Ordinary effort is the key defining words for an official score in deciding hit or error. And I would say for Iglesias, that was ordinary effort. Or for most shortstops.
Well, I hope it's not an ordinary effort because I don't want to see him to do that again.
Anderson, a base stealing threat, still learning how to put his terrific speed to use. Michael Fulmer, as a flip over to first, Jack, he's doing everything that you would expect out of a veteran pitcher. And again, he's 14 starts into his career, but he stops the running game. 1 steal in 14 starts.
He competes. He really competes. You can see it in everything he does. And yet he's confident. Good slide step there. Ball tailing away from Melky.
Tiger pitchers in recent years and still this year, not many use the slide step. Did you ever feel comfortable using it? Did you use it?
I hated it, but it was a necessity, especially with catchers that didn't throw well. I had a few of them in my later part of my career. You know, Lance spoiled me for years, Lance Parrish. And I wasn't very good at holding runners, I have to admit. I had a guy with a cannon behind the plate, and I figured, well, if he got the second, I'm not worried about him. If he gets the third, I'm not really worried about him, but I'm not going to let him get home. Well, that wasn't a good theory. I could have been a lot better.
Slide step again. Base hit into right. Anderson's heading to third, and he'll make it with ease. First inning jam for Michael Fulmer.
See, wants to go in. It's right there, but it's up a little bit. Melky Cabrera, you can see how he was pulling off on this, basically hunting that fastball in, and he was able to barrel it up, pull it through the hole. Anderson good speed all the way around to third base, often running on the pitch.
Strikeout and 2 ground balls, 1 an error, 1 a single. Can Michael Fulmer get another ground ball? Jose Abreu at the plate. Hit the ball on the ground twice in the game last night. Sharp slider for a strike.
Usually, to get ground balls, you've got to pitch thigh high or down. You've got to locate those balls moving down around the knees. That's when hitters top the ball and you get those ground balls needed. A lot of balls right now are belt high.
Another one. And that one was single into center. Anderson scores. The error leads to a run, and there is still 2 on with just 1 out. Got the ground ball, but that ball was up, Jack, and
well,
hard contact.
Abreu is a professional hitter. We know his numbers are down a little this year, but over his long career, most of it not here in the U.S., played in Cuba, but a very, very good hitter. You can't make mistakes over the middle of the plate, no matter who you are.
Fastball powers Morneau.
When I see hitters, we talked about it last night, Danny. When I see hitters starting to jump out on that fastball, he's throwing 96 and they're still pulling the ball foul. You got to start throwing off-speed pitches. You got to start showing them a different look. It's early in the game, but you got to remind them they can't just sit on dead red. There it is.
The changeup.
That's the pitch that'll be the great equalizer. And he can throw, when you have that kind of movement with a changeup, you can throw it back to back. A lot of times there's pitching coaches and people believing you should never back up a changeup with another changeup unless it's that kind of changeup, because he's got so much movement that it's breaking down. It's actually accomplishing everything he wants it to do. It's breaking down in the zone. You need a ground ball here. Go ahead and throw it again. Whoa.
Hit him. Slider down and in. That's going to load the bases in big first inning trouble for Michael Fulmer. How about that? Off the foot, off the shoulder.
Well, this is all about damage control here. JARROD SALTALAMACCHIA, who's done a good job with the young Tiger pitchers, going out there and trying to let them get a breather and refocus. Sometimes you're overamped. He's been on such a roll that I'm sure Fulmer feels like anything he throws he should get guys out with. And you got, you know, a veteran catcher is going to remind him, hey, you still got to locate. You still got to throw the ball. Hit my glove. Come on. Let's do something and get yourself out of this with only 1 run.
Home run threat. Frazier at the plate. Ground ball here should end it. Iglesias to Kinsler. He gets the double play to end the inning. Fulmer finds a way to limit the damage again. Sox lead by 1 after 1. Stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game. We're going to select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites now being served all day long. Unearned run. Each team left the bases loaded in the first. Bottom third of the order brings Collins, Saltalamacchia, Iglesias to the plate against the former #1 pick for the Tigers, first round pick in 2009, Jacob Turner, who certainly showed some pretty good stuff in the first inning, stuff that we had not seen before. So maybe the year off last year, after an assortment of forearm and shoulder issues, did him some good. Change up there evens the count. Quickly makes it 0-2.
Well, so far he's been able to locate his fastball on his glove side very well. Missing off the plate in, but that's always a good pitch anyway. You're 0-2. You want to move the guy's feet a little bit, make him aware that you're willing to come in.
Traditional 4-pitch pitch mix. 2 types of fastballs, curve, slider, and change. And we're seeing a lively fastball early from Jacob Turner. Interesting to see, Jack. You said sometimes that adrenaline right away can lift that miles per hour up. He's staying with it so far. It'll be interesting to see if he can maintain this kind of velocity.
Well, it's an easy fastball right there, right down Broadway, but getting it by Tyler Collins.
6 starts with the Tigers over 2 years at ages 20 and 21. Then the Tigers shipped Jacob Turner with a couple of others, and that's how the Tigers got Anibal Sanchez, a trade that was big for the Tigers in 2012. Omar Infante coming over. 2013, Sanchez was your ERA winner in the American League. Backdoor breaking ball misses to Saltalamacchia.
Again, the White Sox have to shift to the right side with Salty.
I'm impressed by this fastball.
It's free and easy. It looks effortless. He's not trying to overthrow. It's just coming out of his hand very, very lively.
Saladino, the second baseman, about 30 feet out of the outfield grass.
What you like about his motion right now is the fact that he's not jumping, he's not rushing, his arm's not dragging. Everything's kind of together the way it should be.
That's a good right.
And that's why he's got the command so far that he does. His head stays still. He's able to pick up the target while he's in his motion.
Saltalamacchia trying to slow him down a little bit. He's getting the ball. He's ready to go. Saltalamacchia just got time. Oh, baby.
Forced strikeout already. You can see that Jeff Nelson's giving him the benefit of the doubt, but a lot of that has to do with the catcher, Omar Narvaez, is really framing the pitches fairly well. Of course, Salty's going to say, all right, if you're going to do that, we're going to work at both sides.
We've seen already 3-4 pitches from Jeff Nelson that have, especially to Upton and Saltalamacchia, raised a few eyebrows, to say the least.
Well, here's the reality of it, in my opinion. You know, hitters are going to complain, obviously. They're not strikes. But if he's giving it both ways, in other words, he's going to give it to Fulmer and to Turner, then you have less to complain about because both sides are getting it. You just don't want to see it one-sided.
Shot here. Nice sliding stop by Saladino, but he got him anyway. I was going to say the 4-hopper won't do it, but it did. Tyler Saladino takes a hit away from Iglesias to end the second. Inning in the second of 4 here in Chicago. Tigers with a 5-2 season series lead over the White Sox. Bottom third of the order, Shucks, Saladino, Narvaez against Michael Fulmer. Deep first, Cabrera to Fulmer. Just beats J.B. Shuck.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense presented by Beaumont Health. Pretty much the same in the outfield. Jay up in left, Cameron Maben center. Tyler Collins does get the start in right field today. Castellanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, Cabrera, and JARROD SALTALAMACCHIA is going to do the catching of Michael Fulmer.
Talking about SALTALAMACCHIA before the game with Brad Ausmus, Jack, and he's just been very impressed. And this is the 7th time that SALTALAMACCHIA has caught Michael Fulmer. With his pitch calling abilities, how to work a game, call a game, and he says that's just experience. Yes, it's an edge over James McCann, but McCann is progressing. He said probably faster than even SALTALAMACCHIA did early in his career, but Brad Ausmus really believes it's a 4 to 5 year process. That was his timetable, thinking back on his career, for a catcher to just instinctively know the right pitch to call, the right time to the right batter throughout the course of a game.
Well, when you have an ex-catcher as a manager, he's going to understand probably better than most the importance of game calling. And Salty's done a really good job. That's why he's catching quite a few of the younger guys.
Line drive here right to Upton. Saladino squared it up. Here's the Chevy Silverado, most dependable player since the end of May. Look at those numbers.
Well, those numbers are incredible. And, you know, I don't know if Tiger fans are really aware of how good this young man is. But, Dan, you talked about it. It's not just what he's doing his rookie year. We're talking about all time in baseball. Some of the numbers that he's doing, guys in their whole career didn't do.
That's a 10-start stretch.
Yeah.
The 0.83 ERA.
He's one of those guys. What's an ERA?
There's so many impressive things that you just saw, the 10-start stretch, but the way he gets lefties out, the way he pitches with men on base, a little baby pop up here, and that's an easy inning for Michael Fulmer and the Tigers.
Coming right at him.
Go to every Tigers home game in August. There are a lot of them. $95. It's the August Digital Ballpark Pass. 19 games for just $95 at Comerica Park. To order your August Ballpark Pass, Visit tigers.com/pass. To see moments like that, SALTALAMACCHIA's walk-off home run.
He's done that more than once at Comerica this summer.
Heck of a series win against KC. Then Tigers lost 2-3 to the Twins. Start the 7-game road trip with a win last night. Rain shortened game. We haven't seen many of those in recent years. Appeal down to first on the check swing. Doug Eddings says Kinsler did not go. And then struck out swinging. And a 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Jacob Turner in the first. Broken back ground ball here is foul. Just outside the bag at third.
We're seeing some pretty impressive stuff with these two young pitchers here tonight. See the movement of this fastball just eats up the bat of Ian Kinsler right on the handle, and it snaps in half.
We're getting a pretty good feel why Chicago called up Jacob Turner. I get a feeling they didn't see quite this stuff in Anaheim.
Well, according to the numbers, that apparently wasn't even close. But he's free and easy tonight. At least so far.
And Jack, you can picture after missing all of last year that it would take some time to get it back at the minor league level. Another chopper foul. He certainly showed in a couple of his last starts low walks, high strikeouts.
Well, especially when you're coming off an injury, they're going to baby you. They're going to make sure that injury doesn't reoccur. So you're not. It's not like you're going, all right, I'm good to go, and you get all your innings in and you can work through the tough times and, you know, kind of dial it back in. When you have an injury, it's going to be, you know, soft leather gloves. You've got to really take it easy. So he doesn't have a lot of starts in the minor leagues. Doesn't have a lot of effort there. And tonight it looks like he's saying to himself, you know what, I can let it go. I trust that my arm's healthy.
Showing stuff that he really has not shown at the major league level. The Tigers are making him throw a lot of pitches already.
Well, those are max effort pitches too. Over half of his pitches are 95 and above, and that'll be something that Don Cooper is going to take a look at and keep an eye on. Robin Ventura, the manager. Good at bat here for Kinsler, working the count. That's what you want in your leadoff man, is work that pitch count, make him throw the ball up in the zone.
8-pitch battle last night ended well. This will be at least a 9-pitch battle between Jacob Turner and Ian Kinsler. And there's always that factor of facing the team that drafted you and traded you away, too. Isn't there, when you take them out?
I don't know. I was with the team that drafted me for a long time. So, you know, I imagine there's always something about going back home and trying to show them that they might have made a mistake.
Whoa. He tried to go the breaking ball away. You could see where Narvaez was set up, and he hits Ian on the left shoulder on the back.
Leadoff man on, and it was a great at-bat for Kinsler. Worked 9 pitches, finally got a squirting, slipping, breaking ball out of Jacob Turner's hand that just, he didn't even move.
So nobody out, 3rd inning, and his pitch count at 53 on a hot, steamy night on the south side. Tigers had pushed that pitch count up with 12 fouls. In 2 strike counts. There's a foul out of play, or a strike on the outside corner. Kinsler, both at bats, Maben, Upton, all have fouled off 2 strike pitches.
And that's something, like I said, they're going to be keeping an eye on with Turner. Pitch count, he's probably already halfway to where he's going to be. Go ahead, go!
They had Ian Kinsler picked off, and a terrible throw from Abreu to Anderson puts Kinsler on 3rd with nobody out.
Take another look at Kinsler. He's getting that kind of slow walking lead. He wants to time it, and he wasn't anticipating the throw back to first, but Tim Anderson not able to handle the throw from Jose Abreu, and that puts Kinsler at 3rd base. So 90 feet away, the tying run with nobody out.
Steal number 10, and then an error on Abreu. And still strike one on Maben from the full windup. Turner delivers a fastball low. It's amazing. Half of his pitches 95 plus. Last time we saw him, no pitches above 95, or at 95 for that matter.
Now, more importantly, look at the pitch count climbing. He's got 6 outs. 6 outs in this game. Well, you're halfway to what your goal is, or what you're going to be limited to.
You've already shortened his night.
Yeah, he's probably got 2-3 innings left.
Line drive into the right field corner. Kinsler in. Maben around second as Eaton has a tough time finding the handle on a ball that kept squirting away from him. Tigers tied up and still have a man on third, nobody out.
It looked like Maben was going to maybe hold up at second base, but he picked up Dave Clark, the third base coach, and Eaton couldn't find the handle on this. It comes into his hand, and whoopsie. And that's when Dave Clark kept waving Maben around. Come on over here, kid. I got room for you.
You're right. He was going to stop at second because Eaton's having such a good year. That's got to be double and an error, I would think. That's the finest right fielder in the game right now, and he just couldn't get the handle.
Didn't use his glove. Tried to barehand it.
Turner pitched Cabrera in his first at-bat, and he turned on one of those sinking fastballs in and put a double right down the left field line. Now away with the slider and a good hitter's count. A typical pitcher through 3 innings would throw right around 50 pitches, just under. Jacob Turner's closing in on 60 and has not recorded an out in the third. 3-0.
Yeah, and that's with a clean second inning, 1, 2, 3 second innings. So a lot of pitches came in the first inning. Now here a lot to lead off the third inning.
He walked him. We'll take Don Cooper out to the mound. Jacob Turner's not getting those same calls off the plate that he was getting in the first.
Well, they're not as close either. Don Cooper coming out to try to settle him down. I remember many dugouts where I'd be sitting in there and there'd be a young kid taking his first toss against my team, whether it was the Twins or the Tigers or the Blue Jays. And, you know, those hitters, they have a funny way of initiating you. Start fast, you won't last. You know, stuff like that.
Sam Bernstein advantage brings the batter-pitcher matchup, and Victor Martinez has that advantage tonight. Career against the White Sox. Very few have career numbers against Jacob Turner.
Well, that's impressive numbers that Victor has. Of course, Victor's numbers are pretty good against most teams, but he's played a lot of games here in the same division as the White Sox.
Breaking ball in the dirt goes off Narvaez, and into score comes Maben. Tigers take a 2-1 lead. Down to second goes Cabrera.
Kind of unraveling a little bit here for Jacob Turner in the third inning. A couple errors behind him didn't help his cause at all, and now he chokes a breaking ball that almost hits Victor in the foot. Narvaez couldn't handle it. And Maben, with his good speed, easily scores.
Kind of amazing how he has unraveled just a little bit after such an impressive start. There's a curveball. First time through the order, just the ground ball double. That was the only hard hit ball. 4 strikeouts. And 2 walks, but one of them intentional. Tigers have taken the lead, and there's still nobody out here in the third. Powers them in. modified shift here. We're seeing some teams use this shift. Shortstop up the middle, but to the left of second. Second baseman out onto the outfield grass against Victor. Saw it on the homestand with Kansas City. It seems really to make more sense, Jack, than a absolute shift with 3 infielders on the right side, just given Victor's ability to use all fields, hit ground balls, it seems, wherever he wants to.
Yeah, it kind of makes more sense to me if Miguel Cabrera was still at first base, because that way Tim Anderson's closer to second base to maybe turn 2. Typically you'd see him over on the second base side in this situation.
Outfield plays Victor to go the opposite way just slightly. Shuck shaded that way in center. Changeup didn't do much except float up and away. Castellanos waiting on deck. He walked on 4 pitches after Victor was walked intentionally with Cabrera at second base in the first. Out of play. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Victor's had some good swings in recent days, unrewarded for those good swings the last day on the homestand against the Twins. Hit the ball hard 3 times, and again yesterday, line drive single. This bat looks like it could be on the verge of getting out of what for him has been a, well, 2-week funk going back 15 games.
And more than anything, again, working the count. The pitch count just keeps climbing here with Jacob Turner. And he hasn't recorded an out here in the 3rd inning, so over 2 innings. He's got what, 34 pitches per inning, which is way too high.
Fulmer watching. He's going to be sitting a while in between half innings. Ground ball softly here into the outfield grass. That's where Saladino is to throw out Victor. He does advance Cabrera to 3rd. He's there with 1 out for Nick Castellanos.
Get him over, get him in. That's the old saying. Victor gets him over. Now it's up to Nick to get him in.
Nick's situational hitting's been pretty good this year, Jack. Sometimes it takes a young hitter a while to learn how to drive runs in situations like this. He's been very good runners in scoring position, either with an out or with a hit to drive that runner home with at third, less than 2 outs.
They've got Abreu playing well off the line at first base, and Saladino's playing close to second base. Nick will go that way. He's very good at taking this fastball away and going that way, although at that pitch you could tell that he was trying to pull. Now with the count in favor of the pitcher, he will probably be more willing to go with the pitch. But if they're going to leave that much of the line, Castellanos gets a fastball away. You watch him try to shoot that ball to the right side when he's behind the count for sure.
Frustrated as he slaps at his bat, couldn't hold up in time to avoid the foul tip off his bat. 28 pitches already this inning, and you can see that's pretty good right there.
Yeah, it's major league average. And I suspect as he matures it'll even get better. The good hitters somehow find a knack of driving in those runs.
Breaking ball hung up a little bit. 97-98 out of the gate for Jacob Turner. You can see that fastball velocity starting to trend down for him as the pitch count climbs.
Well, he's 3/4 of the way there already as far as his pitch count, I'm sure.
Hit batter started the inning, a 9-pitch trip to the plate for Ian Kinsler. Stole second to third on an error, scored on a Maben double. 96, but down in the strike zone. Error got Maben to third. He scored on a wild pitch. Now Cabrera, after a walk wild pitch combination, moved over to third on the ground ball. Nick trying to bring him home with the Tigers leading 2-1 here in the third. Turner was going from the full windup with a runner at third. Now working from the stretch. Boy, Nick's giving him a battle. A lot of foul balls off the Tiger bats tonight.
It's been kind of the story of this half inning. Tigers have really battled. Kinsler had a good battle with him. Victor had another good battle. Now Nick's having a good battle. That pitch count at 75. It's a cat and mouse game. 2-2 count. You got a runner at third. Only one out. Castellanos trying to figure out what's he going to throw me here.
Fastball and he laid off. He's been yanking that fastball, Jack. This inning especially. Down and away to righties.
It's usually a sign that his legs are getting tired. He's starting to rush a little bit more. You saw how free and easy it was that first couple innings, but pitch counts climbing. Another hot night here in Chicago.
The 3-2. Another tap foul. 19 fouls and 12 have been in 2-strike counts to extend an at bat.
It's hard to keep a good pace. We talked about Mark Burley and his fast pace, about Michael Fulmer and how he gets the ball and throws it. But when you get fouled off and fouled off and fouled off and you're throwing 9 pitches to a hitter, it's hard to keep that pace. You need a breather. You need an out.
And a base hit into center field. Cabrera in. 3-1 Tigers in the third.
Great at bat.
9-pitch battle won by Nick Castellanos.
That's just it. He won the battle. See the last pitch. He's been trying to pitch him away. Well, this one pretty much centered. You can see number 9 there on the chart. Inside out. It's a great. That was a great shot of him showing his concentration, focus, and head down on the ball.
Nick's hit .330 with runners in scoring position this year with power. All kinds of improvement for a 24-year-old. Upton slices one foul and unplayable down the right field line. Victimized by, well, a couple of interesting calls in his at-bat in the first. Struck out swinging. 4 strikeouts, first 8 batters, 3 on swinging third strikes with a mostly power fastball for Jacob Turner. And he has been laboring ever since. Perfect pitch there.
You can see he kind of cruised through the second inning, a 1-2-3 inning. But 36 pitches, and he's only got the 1 out here in the top of the third.
No activity yet in the White Sox bullpen. We're seeing some stirring though, and I think we're about to see some activity. Who else? Seems like he's available every day. Castellanos goes. He's going to have to head back to first quickly, or will he? It drops into right field. How about that? That ball was up in the air a long time, and it squeezed in between Shucks, Saladino, and Eaton.
Zero in on Nick Castellanos. He's going there. He's got to pick up the ball. He hears that it's hit, but he doesn't know exactly where, so he's going to sneak back because he sees everybody converging into that triangle there out in right center. But the ball drops, and he scoots back over to second base.
Not an easy play for Nick, deciding where to go.
Early in the game, but really no choice for Robin Ventura here. He's got to get somebody going.
Jack, did you always feel that there was one long inning at short early in the game, 35, 40 pitches that shortened your day, or did you always overcome that?
It certainly didn't make it any easier. I can tell you that. I always tried to be able to overcome it, and a lot of times my teammates would pick me up and give me the runs I needed, and we'd start all over. That's kind of the way I used to look at it. Is all right, we just got to regroup and start all over.
And how about if you're sitting on the bench watching your teammates score runs?
You do exactly what he's doing there. You wrap your arm, you keep it loose. You know, you don't want to sit too long. I think pitchers are a little superstitious in that way. But as long as the runs keep piling up.
You were always glad to see that.
I never lost with 10, and I'd remind him of that. You know, you want to win tonight, just get 10 early.
You can say right now you never lost with 10.
And they all knew it. Every team that he ever had knew it. Take as long as you want, guys.
3-1 on Collins, and you would think this might be the end right here for Jacob Turner if he can't get Collins. This has been one long inning.
It's taxing. This is, a guy coming back from an injury. You don't want to have 40, 50 pitch innings.
Tyler just helped him out. Still got the good velocity on the fastball.
It just shows that there's a lot more to the art of pitching than throwing hard. He's got everything at times. He's throwing a great breaking ball. He's throwing a good changeup. He's throwing a great fastball, but not always locating him. Bears back and throws it right by Collins there.
Back-to-back fastballs right at the belt.
5th strikeout, 2nd time for Tyler Collins, all on fastballs.
This is one strange looking line right now for Jacob Turner. 3 walks, a hit batter, 5 strikeouts, 3 runs on 4 hits and 2 2/3. Steals strike 1 with a curveball. SALTALAMACCHIA faces the shift. Saladino way out in the outfield grass. Tim Anderson, the shortstop, basically right behind second base, just to the left field side.
Turner only lasted 4 innings in his last outing against the Angels, where he gave up 7 hits and 8 runs, all earned. So it doesn't appear that early in the going here tonight it's gotten a whole lot better for him. It started out pretty good.
Sure did. First trip through the order, yeah. Outfield plays SALTALAMACCHIA to pull. And for the 2nd straight at bat, he takes a pitch off the plate inside for a called third. Tigers score 3 and have a 2-run lead. All right, thanks, guys. Top of the order. Adam Eaton at the plate. Soft ground ball to first, but that was off his foot. Jack, we were talking about sitting a long time.
26 minutes for Michael Fulmer there in that half inning. But I'm going to tell you, Dan, he's got two things going for him. Number one, he's young. All right, the older you get, the longer you're in the game, the more you sit, the harder it is. And number two, it's a hot, sticky night. So he's not really going to cool down that much. Two things going for him. So in fact, in the real hot weather that you see in Kansas City or Texas, sometimes it's better to just sit there for 20 minutes, you know, because the air is going to cool down a little bit maybe. And the guys put some numbers up on the board for you.
Right on his right ankle. Took Eaton a moment to walk this one off. But we mentioned it because, I mean, Jordan Zimmerman, and your point's a good one. More of a veteran. He's only 30, but still more of a veteran. Twice this year, as Iglesias takes care of Adam Eaton, who could not get down that line very well. Jordan Zimmerman twice had a long half inning, Jack, where he sat for close to a half an hour. And both times he admitted, which I thought was interesting, that it affected him the next inning, and he was not nearly as effective. One of those games against the Minnesota Twins. And he got the Twins back into the game when he had a big lead.
Pitchers are a victim of habit and routine, and they want to be able to get that ball. They don't want a lot of time in between. They want that rhythm effect. And sometimes by long half innings, it upsets your rhythm. But I don't think it's going to upset Michael Fulmer that much tonight.
Nothing seems to affect Michael Fulmer. Ground ball here, hit pretty hard, but right to Kinsler. 2 up and 2 down as he records 2 outs on 5 pitches.
Well, again, you know, there's so many things positive to say about Michael. But here it is, a shutdown inning after they score him 3. He's coming right after him. You know, he's attacking the strike zone. He did that in the second inning after a little bit of a rough first inning. But, yeah, there's so many things that you can't help but admire about this kid.
He had that incredible streak where he allowed 1 run or none for 8 starts. Gave up 2 last game, but he worked out of an early bases loaded jam in that game. A couple of strikeouts to get out of that jam. First inning jam today after an error, doesn't let it bother him. A run does score, but works out of a bases loaded jam.
Yeah, he got that key double play ball to get out of that jam.
Pours the fastball in. And he's getting the ball, Jack, and like you said, he's ready to go. Whatever SALTALAMACCHIA is putting down, he's going with it. Boy, the high strike on a slider above the belt. What a call.
That's not where he wanted it. But when you have that kind of stuff, you can get away with it once in a while.
Couldn't get Cabrera to chase. .6'3", 215-pound righty Michael Fulmer into his motion. And a soft little ground ball foul.
I was interested to see what was going to happen on that last pitch. SALTALAMACCHIA called a changeup, and Melky Cabrera is a very good changeup hitter. And how will he react? He did a pretty good job there of staying back.
Turns the fastball around, drives it past Cameron Maybin, and that'll be a double for Melky Cabrera. 2-out hit here in the 3rd with the Tigers leading by 2.
Came right after him, left the ball right middle half, center cut. And Melky, pretty good fastball hitter in his career, didn't miss it.
Brings up Jose Abreu, ground ball single, brought home what turned out to be an unearned run in the first for Chicago. Sox offense that has been really streaky over the last month or so since the Tigers were last here. Long foul fly down the right field line.
See, Salty wanted that ball in. You've got to get in on this guy once in a while. He's very good at extending his arms, handles the ball away from him very well. He's got tremendous power. And Salty there tried to get him to throw the ball in. The ball stayed away. He got away with a mistake pitch. Looks like they're going to go away again with the breaking ball maybe.
Howard came in and Abreu laid off. Going for 3 in the game last night for Abreu. Pelfrey successfully pounded him in a couple of times. Stay in with 3-1. Hit batter. No walks, 1 strikeout so far for Fulmer. He's faced 12 batters. This is his 13th batter faced. Came into the game averaging 3 walks per 9. Just over 8 strikeouts. Misses here and walks Abreu.
Well, that ball kind of squirted out of his fingers too, and you can almost see that he rushed it a little bit, didn't get his hands on top. It was a breaking ball.
Pretty good mix right there through 40 pitches. Pitch count's just a little bit different than Jacob Turner's. Potentially a pitch or 2 away from being through 3 below 45 pitches. Turner's already at 90. So Jack, you know Morneau's only had a handful of at-bats in the minors, and you're the catcher or the pitcher. He hasn't played much in the last year and a half. You want to have him prove that he can beat you with a fastball?
Well, I think more than anything else, you want to have strikes. You want to get ahead of him. And, you know, then you have more options. Certainly in this situation with runners on first and second, he's got to be somewhat aware that Justin Morneau has always been a good hitter, and he has the potential to drive the ball and score runs. But with that being said, you have 2-run lead. Get ahead of the guy and then make a good pitch. You know, there's a lot of options. He's been a good off-speed hitter in his career when he looks for it. But when you have the hammer in your hand because you're ahead, he's got to protect.
This is with the fastball. And after the walk to Abreu, 3-0 on Morneau. Rarely see this from Michael Fulmer. Pretty good chance he's still going to bounce back in this at bat. Let's see. Strike 1.
You see how much he's perspiring. He wears no sleeves at all. That sometimes that'll suck up some of the moisture on your arms. But I got to believe that ball is fairly wet right now. Sometimes it'll slip on you.
Well, like you said, the important thing is it's the same for both sides.
Usually not a good sign for the umpire when both dugouts are yelling.
That almost evens up the ledger. Boy, now Morneau's good. Almost has to swing if this is close. He does. Knocked down by Cabrera. Sitting down, throws him out. Nice play by Miguel.
What's going on the right side over there?
Miguel gets him from his backside. Thank goodness there was Morneau running, and the Tigers hold on to the 2-run lead. 4th inning. Well, tomorrow MLB on FS1 back. Good doubleheader tomorrow. Got Buster Posey and the Giants against Mark Teixeira and the Yankees, and it's Rangers against the Royals. And you can only see on FS1. Action starts at 4 on FS1. You can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Jose Iglesias takes a strike to start the 4th. It's been a really good stretch for Iglesias since early June. He was hitting .211, and it was a weak .211. Long foul fly down the left field line. And since the beginning of June, he's hit a little over 300. But Jack, the thing that really you see with Iglesias, much more consistent hard contact, as many walks as strikeouts. He's getting on base, not just by base hits, but he can also walk to get on base as the lineup turns over.
I would consider him a pesky hitter. He's the kind of guy that doesn't walk, and that annoys pitchers sometimes a lot, because you make your tough pitches and he fouls them off and he fouls them off.
And he hits pitches like that. So which Tiger? Fun-loving Omar Vizquel having a little fun. That's a great look. Great look. Asked Omar about Tim Anderson's play last night. He just had a big smile on his face. Jim Anderson made a play that few shortstops do. He just smiled and said, yeah, that's a heck of a play. Deep in the hole, it's short in the jump throw. He said that's the throw you have to make when you run that far. You can't plant and throw. You just have, your momentum is taking you away, and you just have to make that jump throw. And the astounding thing was the amount that he got on that throw. Shot here, past a diving Frazier. Ian Kinsler stays hot. What a stretch. He's come out of the gates in the second half firing.
When he strikes out in his first at bat, he gets hit in the back his second at bat, and he's hunting fastball his third at bat, doesn't miss it, drives it past the diving Todd Frazier into left field.
Scored another run in this game. That's 78 runs for Ian. Tigers still shy of their 100th game as Don Cooper again.
Yeah, Matt Elber is up and throwing again in the Sox bullpen. And you kind of wonder if this is just to give him enough tosses down there to have him ready. But pitching coach rarely takes out the pitcher. So he'll head back to the dugout and give Jacob Turner another crack at Cameron Maybin.
We talked about it last night, the ability of Don Cooper, Jack, to get the most out of all of his pitchers, but a struggling pitcher like James Shields. In other words, when he has something to work with, and you would think with Jacob Turner, I mean, there's something to work with here.
Well,
I mean, the movement on the fastball.
Both guys, obviously, it's not about talent, it's about the mental approach. And I think that's really sometimes more important for a pitching coach, is to get into their heads and figure out what it's going to take to get them to think positive again, because they've got demons crawling all over there and telling them all sorts of things, and they're not good things. Or, you know, I can't do this, or, you know, you've got to be perfect here. And Cooper is trying to simplify it all, saying you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be in this part of the plate. Just hit that glove. Maybe start over the middle instead of starting on the outside. Little things like that.
He's suspicious of Ian, who took off with a walking, running lead, thinking that Turner was going to deliver the pitch to the plate. Threw to first, and Abreu poor throw to second, put Ian Kinsler on third. Ian looks like he wants to go again. Down in the strike zone with the fastball. Maybin's 1 for 2 tonight. His average fell below 330. Fell below 330 for the first time this year last night. And what we watched this year won't be a surprise to see him get it right back up above 330. But that's the year that Maybin's having. great consistency.
And we talked about how long Michael Fulmer was in the dugout last half inning, 26-minute half inning. Well, let's just turn it around. That meant that all the fielders for the White Sox were standing around for 26 minutes when they want to be in the dugout showing the world how well they swing the bat. So you want to win friends and influence teammates, you get them in the dugout as fast as you can.
That's not only the third non-intentional walk of the night. All 3 of the walks issued that were not intentional were 4-pitch walks. End of the night for Jacob Turner. Tigers lead by 2 in the 4th. Pretty creative banner right there.
I would say
room for, well, at least looks like 3.
I think they're missing a couple bodies in that thing. But.
Wallside windows pitching change. Matt Albers on the mound for the White Sox. This guy's been used a lot already. What you notice is that Robin Ventura is not trusting him for more than an out or 2. Backup slider for strike 1. He went an inning in the game last night. His previous 9 appearances had all lasted 1 out or none. 2 innings, 9 appearances. The rare sighting of a situational righty.
Well, it's going to be a little different story, I believe, in this game because he's coming in as a mop-up.
There we go. Those are the other 2 bodies we were missing.
You know, it's probably a little chilly for them, so they have to wear that blanket. How about that group? They're just wearing the same Go Tigers, but individual t-shirts.
Foul out of play.
God bless them, right?
Absolutely.
Coming all over, over here to the south side of Chicago. Beautiful Friday night for a baseball game.
We've seen Tiger fans take over ballparks, mainly on the north side. Here, even when the Cubs were good, the Tigers have taken over that ballpark. Tigers fans have. We see it all around the Midwest. Cincinnati, travel to Pittsburgh. Shot here and diving stop by Saladino, but they will not get an out. He saved a run, but it's an infield base hit for Miguel Cabrera to load the bases with 1 out in the 4th.
Well, Miggy having another good night. Second hit of the game along with a walk and a run scored. See Saladino going to his right, but he's falling all over the place. He must be on roller skates tonight because he can't stay on his feet. Couldn't get rid of the ball there. And Anderson waiting for it, but could not get rid of it, and everybody's safe.
That deflect off of Albers. I think it was going to go right to Saladino, and the deflection caused him to dive. Right off of the backside of Matt Albers, and I think he doesn't have to dive if that ball doesn't hit him. Now Victor with a chance to do some damage. It's about what you'd expect from Victor with the bases loaded.
It's unbelievable. Those are phenomenal numbers. And he can blow this one wide open.
Changeup misses away.
If history is an indication of what's going to happen, you got to believe Michael Fulmer is going to settle in and pitch deeper into this game. Tigers got a 2-run lead for him right now, and really could blow it open and give him a reason to come out and pound the strike zone even more.
Albers has had a tough time throwing strikes this year, and he's having a tough time throwing a strike to Victor Martinez. 3-0 and no place to put him.
Well, you let him swing away here.
Absolutely.
I do. He's a professional hitter. He understands. If he gets something he likes, take a hack at it.
He's been squaring up some balls in recent days. Tries this into the left center field gap. Shuck will make the catch on the run. Ian will tag and trot home. Everybody else holds. And the Tigers take a 4-1 lead. Victor Martinez with his 56th RBI of the year.
Well, he got the job done, driving in the run. Ian's going to score easily from third on that one.
Another good swing for Victor. Second out here in the fourth. Castellanos big at bat in this game. A long battle against Jacob Turner. That was back, well, just last inning. Seems like a lot longer ago. Single scored Cabrera from third. The Tigers' third run of the night. Maben is a near automatic to score from second. In this outfield, Cabrera's got the best arm. Eaton's got a good arm in right. A single to left. I'm sure they'll send Cameron, but we saw Melky Cabrera's arm on display last series last month. Got to note that that was the first time in his career that Victor Martinez drove in a run on a 3-0 pitch. How about that? Tells you how often he swings. Not very.
That's almost impossible to believe. You look at his numbers with men, bases loaded, 4 grand slams, no 3-0 counts.
Oh, in his Tigers career.
Another long half inning for that guy, but he's okay with it.
Nick waiting on the 1-1. Perfect pitch. Nick has walked. RBI single. A warm, humid night in Chicago. It's this way, of course, across the country. The humidity is thick here in the Midwest. Very light breeze at the start of the game tonight. Not really playing into this game at all.
Actually, quite a bit more of a breeze earlier and during batting practice down in the field. Both of us were. You could feel a breeze. It felt fairly nice, but it's gotten a lot more still here as the game's gone on. And a lot of standing around for the Chicago White Sox defense.
It definitely affects the hitters, doesn't it? I mean, when you've been standing around, now you go to the plate and suck the life out of your legs.
Well, it's just the focus too. You're ready to get in there. You want to make things happen. You're thinking about the pitcher and what he's going to throw to you. And those hitters are like pitchers. They're thinking ahead all the time. And then you have to stand around, stand around. You want the ball hit to you.
Broken back ground ball here to Anderson. Easy toss to Abreu. Tigers settle for 1. Gorgeous night in Chicago. Tigers with a 3-run lead. Coverage of baseball. Take a look at some of the news and notes from around the league. Dexter Fowler is arguably one of the Cubs' most valuable players this season. Activated for the Cubs today, and all he did was start the game with a leadoff home run. He just had
you guys
a terrific
missed me,
year.
didn't you? Come back in, first plate appearance, boom.
They love what he's done for them. Mookie Betts leaves tonight's game with right knee soreness. They should give him a few more days off. Make sure that he's healthy before they put him back in the lineup. A couple of home runs from Matt Kemp.
At least next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, I think
right?
so. It'd be the right thing to do. 1-1 on Frazier.
Tigers go to Boston.
Frazier bounced into a 6-4-3 double play in the first. That was a big early moment in this game, but it's so impressive that Michael Fulmer, with men on base, gets key outs game after game after game. There haven't been a whole lot of runners on, but when he's in a jam, he gets out of it with great regularity. And it was a bases loaded 1-0 lead for Chicago. 1 out, their big home run hitter at the plate, and he induced the ground ball.
Well, so far showing an uncanny ability to make a pitch when he has to, and that's what you're really talking about with runners on base. You need an out, you're able to make that pitch to can get it.
Walked Abreu 2 batters ago, went to 3-0 on Morneau last inning, and then got the out. 3-2 pitch here, right off the end of the bat.
Just can't help but admire his aggressiveness and the fact that he's getting the ball, getting the sign, and letting it go. And typically ahead in counts, doesn't pitch behind a lot. He's that change up here.
Oh,
nasty.
What a pitch. Changeup's been such a weapon, and he gets the swing and miss. The movement on this pitch.
That's his first strikeout with the changeup, but you see the arm speed and the fact that he kind of whips that ball. Look at the sink, the movement that that pitch has. It's got to break at least 2 feet out of the zone, but Frazier's already committed. Great pitch.
Struck out the first batter of the game. That's his second. Brings up J.B. Shuck. Soft little tapper. Fulmer takes care of. Whoa, J.B. Shuck. Menards brings you the big money encounter. We take a look at the first 14 starts for Justin Verlander, babyface rookie 10 years ago, and Michael Fulmer this year. Justin had an outstanding rookie season, obviously, on his way to 17 wins. That's how he started. Michael Fulmer just a little bit better just about every way. More strikeouts, fewer runs allowed.
Well, both guys, I think, have shown Tiger fans how lucky they are to have the talent that both these guys have had. Of course, Verlander has gone on to greatness as far as Cy Young, MVP, all that stuff. Fulmer hoping to maybe someday have that opportunity. I think both guys want more than anything else a world championship. That's why you play this game, and you play it with the passion that they both have.
Foul goes off the mask of SALTALAMACCHIA. Can't overemphasize what this young man has meant to this Tigers rotation. 4 starts that were shaky. He knew it. He knew he had to make some changes. He said, I had to get to the first inning. And in start number 5, he made a conscious effort to do 2 things. Throw a few extra pitches in the bullpen before the game to get through the first, and throw the changeup more. And that was against Tampa Bay, and that's when this great run started for Michael Fulmer.
Well, Denny, you know how many guys have been given the chance this year. How many starters have come up and down from Toledo and got an opportunity. And Fulmer, when he came up, his numbers no more impressive than anybody else, but he took the opportunity and ran with it. And he got it dialed in, and I mean to tell you, since he's got it dialed in, it's been fun to watch.
It's been incredible.
And the Tigers have been the beneficiary. We can't wait for him to get the ball in their hand.
Fastball a little bit low.
And I think that's why Alavila's got to be a little bit hesitant to do anything drastic as this trade deadline appears, because you got this guy going. If JV can start and continue to pitch throughout the second half the way we all know he can, you get Zimmerman back.
Iglesias takes care of Saladino, and Fulmer's cruise to the first 4. At 1 o'clock, Tigers outfielder Justin Upton will be signing autographs at the D Shop inside Comerica Park. Autographs start at $50. For more information, visit tigers.com/autographs. Upton's Collins SALTALAMACCHIA here in the 5th inning. Strikeout and a bloop single for Upton. Shot here hit hard, but right to Saladino. Saladino's got a nice glove. 1 up, 1 down on 1 pitch. Albert's still on the mound.
You talk about Matt Albers not pitching more than 1 inning. There's some action. Dan Jennings, the left-hander. And guess what? Robin's coming to get him. That's way too long. Come on in, Matt.
Wallside windows pitching change here in the 5th with the Tigers leading by 3. Brought to you by the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. By Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. And by Chevrolet, more than you expect for less than you imagine. Great view of downtown Chicago. And Tigers with the 4-1 lead. 5th inning. 1 out as the lefty Dan Jennings takes over on the mound.
Dan Jennings, one of those go-to lefties that Robin uses. He last pitched out in Seattle on the 20th of this month, so he's fresh and ready to go.
That was a rough series in Seattle for Chicago. Robertson gave up a walk-off home run to a pinch hitter, Adam Lind, and the next day this guy gave up a walk-off home run as Collins is buzzed high and tight. Walk-off home run to Leonis Martin. And that was a heck of a 2 games for Chicago as they went 1-5 out on the West Coast. Tigers know that feeling. It's tough to play on the West Coast, period.
You wonder why, because I look at that division, and even Texas, who haven't been playing well in the last couple of weeks, I feel like the Central Division is tougher up and down. The entire division is tougher than the West. But maybe it's that travel. Maybe it's just the gorgeous cities they're playing in, huh?
Collins. Fly ball to center that will carry, but Shuck is there. 2 outs in the 5th. Texas has seen a 10-game lead, speaking of the West, shrink to 3.5 over Houston. Hard to remember that the Astros at one point this year were 11 games below the 500 mark.
You know, in the first half, it's never fun. You don't want to be a part of that, but you got to remember that it's a long season. Baseball is not over in the first half.
Despite what you may read or hear. Yeah. The seasons are over after
Funny
35.
How those writers want to make you think that they're done.
Breaking ball and a good one to SALTALAMACCHIA as the Sox turn him around to bat from the right side.
And of course the White Sox shift to the left side.
Jam job, line drive softly on 1 hop to Anderson, and a bad throw.
What happened there?
Boy, as routine as it gets, and SALTALAMACCHIA is on first with the 3rd error of the night by Chicago.
Well, this throw was up and towards home plate side, but Abreu, watch what happens here. You can see him throw the ball and it's up and it's not on the base, but Abreu should still be able to get to this ball and watch his feet. Something, oh, he's trying to tag him, I see. It wasn't so much about his feet as he was trying to catch the ball and then tag Salty because he was off the bag.
Yeah, he was trying to
never got
quickly. Yep. Fields it cleanly, might have gotten him, but the strengths of this White Sox defense really reside with their shifting. They shift a lot. They've saved more runs with their shifting Conley up and throwing than any other team in the American League. And with Adam Eaton and Wright, those are their two strengths. There's a long foul fly off the bat of Iglesias. Around the infield, the White Sox have some holes, especially up the middle. As good as Anderson has been in the games we've seen, he's been below average at short, and same for most nights Laurie at second base.
You know, Danny, when I looked at the White Sox early in the year and they were winning games and they were in first place in this division, I was saying, you know, it's such a drastic difference on how much better they're catching the ball. Their defense, I thought, was the reason, and now it's starting to show up in a little different manner again.
Good throw that time by the shortstop Anderson. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
Summer in the first inning after an error that went into the glove of Iglesias. Abreu gets a base hit up the middle, and that scores Tim Anderson for the first run of the game. Maben hits a double into the right field corner, and a wild pitch will score Maben. That's the second run of the game. Nick Castellano hits a base hit that scores Miggy, and that's where we are right now. We tacked on one more. Tigers did 4-1.
Soft little line drive will drop in front of Tyler Collins and Wright. Narvaez, only 4 major league at bats, now 5. Singles to right field on a strike one pitch. Jeff Glover and Associates brings you the scouting report on Adam Eaton. You can see the career numbers among active players against Tigers pitching.
He feasts off the Tigers, doesn't he?
And you can believe that Denard Span went at the very top there. It seemed like Tigers just could not get him out. Brantley, Cabrera. That's Melky Cabrera.
Yeah, Span was all when he was with the Twins. Melky Cabrera over his career when he was with Toronto and New York.
Fastball misses outside. Jack, you talked about Fulmer just getting the ball ready to go. And you talked about early in your career when you had just come up, the effect that Milt May had on you because you just implicitly trusted everything you put down.
I think as a young pitcher, you just don't know the hitters the way that the veteran catchers do. And I remember Milt May coming up to me. He wasn't a start or two into the big leagues, and he said, "Look it." He says, "You don't know these guys yet. You're gonna." He said, "But trust me." He says, "Hit my glove." He says, "I'll walk you through this. You're gonna win. If you hit my glove, you're gonna win." And he built up confidence in me, knowing that, hey, I don't have to think about it right now. I'll learn as I go. But see what he's trying to do with hitters.
Just misses 3-1.
You wonder why he can lay off that pitch. Well, I go back to Dave Bergman. I'd ask him stuff like that. He says, "Well, because I can't hit it." That's just a pitcher's pitch right there. Just off the plate, fastball underneath the belt. It's one of the best pitches in the game, in my opinion. Right under the hands of the hitter inside.
Fastball with a lot of movement, but it moved right out of the strike zone. Second walk for Michael Fulmer, and a couple of men on. Last inning, or in the third, it was 2 men on, 2 outs. Now it's 2 men on to start the inning, heading into the heart of the White Sox order.
Yeah, this is where damage control is going to play its role again. It's got to go through the 2, 3, 4 hitters here with nobody out.
Among the many impressive things that Michael Fulmer does, league-wide, there's a lot of damage done on one of the first 2 pitches of an at-bat. First pitch, 0-1, 1-0. League's hitting about 350 with power. Against Michael Fulmer, this year on those pitches, league is hitting 237. Ground ball to third. Castellanos gets the out at second. They flip back behind. Terrific play by Nick Castellanos to force EATON at second base.
Watch how Nick lays out to get this ball, and you kind of wonder, well, if he's not going to get a double play, why doesn't he just take third base and get the lead runner? He's got plenty of time to do that. Well, he thinks when he throws the ball to Kinsler, there's a chance that he could turn 2. And that's why he goes to second base there.
Ian didn't even look to first. He had to know it's Anderson running. We've got no chance. That brings up Melky Cabrera. He's going to chop one foul to go back to those numbers against Michael Fulmer. Teams are swinging. They're trying to put the early pitches in play when a lot of damage is done league-wide. They're not doing anything against Fulmer. It's 230 with no power.
It's amazing to see the numbers that he has. Like against left-handers, and Melky Cabrera hitting left-handed right here. 210. That's what they're hitting off Fulmer. Right-handers, 202. I mean, he just flat out isn't giving up hits.
And it speaks to this stuff, doesn't it? I mean,
well, it really does.
A rookie righty getting out lefties like that.
So we've seen him make great pitches where he's, missed the barrel of the bat, got underneath the handle a little bit, weak ground balls, little fly balls, nothing with any authority.
0-2 here, grounded foul, went in with a hard slider. Anderson's got terrific speed. He's at first. Tigers lead by 3. We're in the bottom of the 5th.
Cabrera not the fastest runner, so if he could hit a ball hard at one of the infielders, there's a chance the Tigers could turn 2 here.
Boy, instead
strike him out. That's even better. Third strikeout. Not a high strikeout night so far for Michael Fulmer, but he's getting the outs when he needs to. That ball he just buried out of the strike zone, but Cabrera couldn't lay off.
Nice to know you can get that swing and miss when you really need it.
And to me, that's the importance of a strikeout. It's not so much how many you rack up in a night, because pitch count's going to climb with strikeout pitchers. It's about being able to do what he just did there. I need a strikeout. There's only one out. I need an out, and I don't want him to hit the ball. And he got the strike.
Last start, the only jam that he had his last time out. Bases loaded jam against Kansas City. And 1 out, runner at third, less than 2 outs. He struck out Perez and Gordon, and he only had 3 strikeouts in the day. Abreu at the plate. RBI single plus a walk tonight. Pretty aggressive hitter. Slider misses in.
To my point, you look at the numbers for the evening for Jacob Turner. 3 1/3 innings, 5 hits, not terrible. 4 runs, all earned, but 4 strikeouts in 6 strikeouts and 4 walks. Pitch count through the roof. He's out of the game and doesn't give his team a chance.
Right.
You know, now the bullpen has to come in, tax themselves, and maybe ruin it for tomorrow.
If you can get into the bullpen in the 4th inning of a 4-game, in game 2 of a 4-game series, absolutely plays into the last 2 games. Or it certainly can.
Sure does.
For Sale going tomorrow, that always makes you feel better as a manager if he's still a White Sox.
Yeah, there's already rumbling on the
Lots of rumors
baseball that he's available, and so is Quintana, Jose Quintana, according to the locals here. I think it's just a bluff. I think they just want to see what kind of interest there is. Just hard for me to imagine right now that Chris Sale will be wearing another uniform.
Especially if you've got him under control for 3 more years at really, these days, a reasonable price. Texas Rangers, that was the hot story late afternoon, aggressively going after Chris Sale. Jam job, but that one will be fair into the right field corner. We're going to hold Anderson at third, Abreu to second, and they had a chance to get him at second base with Anderson holding at third, but Abreu slides in. We've got a 4-2 game.
Taking the location of his last pitch, up in the zone, but see the strength of Abreu. He gets that ball. That's a classic Derek Jeter swing right there. He gets the barrel of the bat to the ball, and then his strength pushes it out into right field. Tyler Collins comes up throwing, and here Iglesias doesn't squeeze the ball. It got hit, no wonder. The ball did not actually go into his glove. It looked like it did initially to me, but you can see that it actually deflected off of Abreu. And had Tim Anderson maybe saw that, he might have been able to scoot home.
This is spot badly, checks his hand. It's worth remembering what you talked about. The ball can sometimes slip out of your hand on a warm, humid night. I think Tim Anderson should have scored right there. That ball trickled far away from Iglesias. Break for the Tigers that he did not. 1-1 on Morneau. First multiple RBI game for that man, their big RBI producer, in almost a month. This is June the 23rd. Boy, there is a good slider. One of the best of the night.
I'll say. You can double up with that one. Not many guys going to handle that. Just so sharp, so quick, and the velocity of it.
Fulmer's been incredible in these situations. He's got to get a big out with 2 in scoring position in a 2-run game. Deep drive to right. Trouble. Gone. Justin Morneau just activated, first home run, and the Sox take the lead.
Well, he went to the well and this time didn't throw as good a one. I believe it was a slider. We'll see. Yep. Ball stayed up. Actually, that was a fastball. My bad. Ball's really out of the zone, but Morneau, he's seen enough of them, and that's the thing with these professional hitters. Justin's been around a long time, and you know, the older you get, the reason you're still in the big league is because you have a clue of what's going to happen. He was looking for that fastball. The ball was left up. And he puts the White Sox ahead with that one swing.
That's an impressive swing, really. And you were talking earlier. Why do guys lay off that pitch? They can't hit it. Fastball up and in, 95, 96.
Get Kyle Ryan up and throwing in the Tiger bullpen.
The first time that Michael Fulmer has allowed more than two, count them, 2 runs in a game. Since May the 15th, 11 starts ago. Rather surprising development after Fulmer struck out Melky Cabrera in a 4-1 game to make it 2 outs, 2 on for Abreu. Abreu with the double, Morneau with a home run. Slider bounces.
Nothing you can do about it now. Michael Fulmer's job is to just keep pounding the strike zone. And he does.
Frazier takes a called third. The White Sox take the lead with 4. Tigers fans, you can join us again tomorrow. Tigers and White Sox, game 3 of this 4-game series. All the coverage begins with Tigers live at 6, right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Tigers White Sox tomorrow at 6 on Fox Sports Detroit. Chris Sale against Matt Boyd, the matchup tomorrow. Tigers have done an excellent job against most of the White Sox starters all year long. They get to the Sox bullpen in the 4th inning today. Tommy Kahnle takes over on the mound here in the 6th.
Well, Robin Ventura going to go through his bullpen, give everybody a little work here tonight. And that's all because Jacob Turner only went 3 1/3 innings. So he's going to try to patch it up. They do have the lead right now. And Ian Kinsler will lead it off again for the Tigers.
Young man traded to the White Sox in the offseason from Colorado. A tough time throwing a strike last year at Colorado. Colorado can do that to a pitcher. And so far he's walked 5 6 innings with the White Sox. The Tigers offense has gone quiet in recent weeks. You notice the walks have dropped as well. Tonight 3 walks plus an intentional walk, so 4 total. Top of the order, Kinsler, Maben, Cabrera.
So could we say that if you start your career as a pitcher in Denver, it's going to be all downhill from there?
That's fair.
The Mile High City.
Does any pitcher say, I can't wait to pitch at Coors? Humidor or not, sinking fastball, swing and miss 1 and 2. It remains year after year, highest scoring ballpark, the best home run ballpark. There's just not a whole lot they can do to limit the offense out there. Ian's 1 for 2. He's also been hit by a pitch and scored 2 runs. Perfect pitch. 98.
This is where you just got to tip your hat to the pitcher and walk to the dugout. 98 on the black, down and away. Kinsler knew it.
Top part of the order has been on a lot. Kinsler, Maben, Cabrera been on 7 of their 10 trips to the plate. Maben with a double and a walk. Cabrera's 2 for 2 plus a walk. 5-4 Sox in the 6th. And Justin Morneau home run.
Get over the velocity that we're seeing from everybody here tonight. Balls are in the high 90s. Must be the humidity, the heat. I'm just trying to match what we're feeling in our bodies tonight.
You'd say hot gun too, except Michael Fulmer was has been right where you would expect him to be, mid-90s with the fastball. Jacob Turner, that was eye-opening. Fascinating to see what the White Sox get out of an arm that looked completely different from the last time we saw him. Power arm versus a sinker baller in the low 90s. Pretty tough right there. 2 up, 2 down.
Gets Maben to chase, partly to do with the velocity here. But look at the sink too. I thought that was a fastball, but maybe it wasn't.
Might have been his changeup at 91. Pretty high walks, higher strikeouts through the minor leagues for Canely. Started with the Yankees, then to Colorado. This is changeup, isn't it, Jack?
Good. It's a lot. It has the movement of Michael Fulmer's changeup. It just really breaks down. Great arm speed.
Ground ball, deep third pass to diving Frazier, and it dies in shallow left field. And that gets Miguel Cabrera down to second with his second double of the night and his 3rd hit.
3 for 3 for Miggy. 2 doubles, a single, run scored on a walk. See how far Frazier's playing off the line. He dives for it, but it gets by him.
Check, that's twice tonight.
Yeah, he's way off the line.
Way off the line. Jacob Turner pounding him in, and Canely pounding him in.
Well, that last pitch was a slider away, and he was still able to turn on it. I think that's why Frazier was playing off the line, because he saw the catcher. Now, if he's just setting up a way, they're going to intentionally walk Victor Martinez again.
I find this interesting. They've walked Victor 3 times intentionally in the 2 games, when he's hardly been walked intentionally all year.
Well, Robin has ultimate respect for him. And the manager makes this decision. And if Robin sees something, I think he just realizes that these are the situations that Victor in his career thrives on. And he doesn't want him to be the guy to spoil the night.
Yep. Going with the matchup, righty-righty. Castellanos walked after the intentional walk in the 1st inning to Victor. Struck out after an intentional walk yesterday. 6th time that Victor's been intentionally walked this year, 3 in the last 2 days. Nick with with a terrific at-bat back in the third inning. A 9-pitch battle, RBI single, 1 for 2 plus a walk. Single to left or to right. Unlikely to score Miguel from second. It's going to have to be away from an outfielder to get Miguel home. Fly ball softly to right. Playable for Eaton. Will end the inning. Tigers put a couple of on. Can't get him home and still trail by 1. Down a run as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. This is the end of a long, and I mean long, stretch on the road for Cleveland. Tigers need to take advantage of every loss Cleveland has on the road. Kyle Ryan takes over on the mound.
See the numbers for Kyle Ryan this year. 33 games pitched. Very good whip. ERA respectable. Gets a lot of work. And an atypical night for Michael Fulmer. And now he's going to need a little help from the bullpen and from his offense to have the Tigers win this game.
Appreciate the streak that we just watched. Rookie or otherwise. There are a few pitchers in history who've done what Michael Fulmer just did. 10 consecutive starts, allowing 2 runs or fewer. Most games it was 1 run or none. 10 consecutive starts, and in no game did he give up more than 6 hits, including tonight. These are the batters the Tigers want to see. Kyle Ryan get out the lefties. Induces the weak ground ball here. 1 out in the 6th. You can follow the Tigers throughout the season with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment, with game day, live game, video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download the MLB.com at-bat app, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. Jack, we were talking earlier about trade deadline. The Tigers need to add, and you were making the point that with Jordan Zimmermann coming back, Daniel Norris coming back, Tigers getting some good starts, obviously from former Verlander, Boyd, and Sanchez lately.
And JD, let's not forget, that sometime we're going to get him back, and
you get JD back.
It's hard to acquire anything that's going to help you at this point of year. I mean, few teams have been able to do it. They're usually, you give up the future for the immediate, and that's part of this for general managers today. You really have to evaluate, are we in it now? If we continue where we're at, will we have an opportunity down the road? And that's why sometimes they're either all in or they're all out. It's not an easy job to try to figure that part of it out. Two quick outs for Kyle Ryan.
Nice job. I thought Anthony Fennick had an interesting story over the break, quoting Max Scherzer, saying that sometimes you always hear our teams get upset if their team hasn't made a move, the general manager hasn't made a move. And Max's point is sometimes standing pat or inaction is the right move, and it actually sends the right message that, hey, we have the pieces to make the run here in the second half.
Well, players really want to take a good hard look in the mirror. That's the reason all the time. If they're not in contention, well, where do you point? Coaches don't play. General managers don't play. They try to assemble the right guys.
And you really won't know. I mean, you assume that when Zimmermann comes back, and it'll be right before the trade deadline, if he doesn't make 2 rehab starts.
Well, I think he's going out tomorrow to start that rehab.
Starting Sunday. But you really won't know what this rotation will look like with a healthy Zimmermann and a healthy Norris until sometime in mid-August. Those two could add a lot.
Alex Wilson now throwing in the Tiger pen.
Tigers down a run in the 6th. That's a good pitch.
It's tough on a lefty, and that's why to a degree, I don't quite understand why he has had the luck or lack thereof with left-handers. He's crossfiring. He's a lot like Chris Sale as far as release point. The ball's really diving in on the lefty.
There's every reason to believe as he throws a cutter away that he can get lefties out. He was doing a very good job when he first came back from Toledo. The last couple of games, 4 for 6 for lefties against Kyle Ryan. You're right, Jack. It looks like he should be able to get lefties out with great regularity.
Yeah, I would think would have more success against lefties than righties. Righties see the ball coming in on him.
Check swing. Did he go? He did not.
There's a side angle there.
To get this right most of the time. That's a tough one.
If he makes contact, that ball could have gone out of here. But it's a ball.
Good pitch there in on the hands. Narvaez's 24-year-old Rule 5 pick from Tampa Bay a few years ago. Not much in the way hitting for average or power in the minor leagues. He's here for his glove. Alex Avila is still on the disabled list. Sounds like he's going to be out for a while longer too. Narvaez backing up the regular Navarro.
Navarro, who's a very good receiver and a guy that calls a good game. But he can't withstand the punishment that catchers go through on a daily basis. These guys need a day off here and there.
And this is with the fastball. Last guy you want to walk ahead of Adam Eaton.
Never a good idea to walk the number 9 hitter.
Eaton's 0 for 2. With a walk. You saw earlier just what a tough out he has been throughout his career against Tigers pitching. 3 for 3 in the game last night. Officials did foul, not a bad idea.
Well, it caught Nick a little bit surprised there. He was playing back. And we've seen year in and year out that Adam Eaton will not hesitate to try to lay down a bunt. Hitless in tonight's game, so he's looking to get on.
He ran into shallow right field, so it took him a while to get back to home plate. Remember, he hit that ball off his ankle earlier. Outfield plays him to go the opposite way just slightly. Castellanos now in tight at third. Will pop up into shallow right. Collins will call off Kinsler to make the catch for out number 3. Good job by Ryan to get Eaton. Tigers still down 1. Fox Sports Detroit's University Days continue with University of Michigan at Comerica Park. Coming up Friday, August the 19th, buy a special ticket package for the Tigers-Red Sox game. Get a special edition Tigers baseball cap in Wolverine colors. To buy tickets or to get more information, visit tigers.com/UM.
Again, Robin Ventura going to his bullpen. It'll be right-hander Carson Fulmer. He's pitching his 3rd game. He last pitched on the 19th in that series against Seattle. So it's been an inning at a time for the bullpen of the White Sox.
First round pick out of Vanderbilt. They produced a few good ones last year. This is a rapid rise to the major leagues. Kind of a herky-jerky delivery, to say the least.
Not sure what he's doing with his hands, but we're going to get to watch it. It's a little different.
He kind of starts, stops.
Well, he just picks him up, flips his glove a little.
It's a little distracting.
It's a step and a throw, and maybe that's what it's all about. You see it. He just sort of lifts his hands, flips it open, flips it back down, steps and throws. Hey, got him to the big leagues in a year.
That's right. Off-speed pitch. Upton dives out of the way. High walks, high strikeouts in the minor leagues in his first full year of professional baseball after making a solid debut in the low minors last year. A little bit of a miss there on the 3-1.
Maybe that's part of the plan. You come in, you don't even hit the door of the barn, and then you paint.
Frazier coming in to settle the youngster down just a little bit. David Price, Sonny Gray, just a few of the many fine arms coming out of Vanderbilt. Drew Verhagen in the Tigers system. Collins takes a strike. Leadoff man on here in the 7th inning. Tigers left the bases loaded in the 1st. Left 2 on in the 4th, 2 on in the 6th. Just haven't had to have that, been able to have that breakthrough game in the 2nd half. That's a good changeup.
You kind of wonder sometimes when a pitching coach sees a young kid come up that does something a little unorthodox, how long will it take him? Well, he won't change a thing as long as he's getting guys out. But the basic mechanics are there. He's stepping towards the plate. He drives with that front shoulder, his left shoulder. His head's fairly still, even though his hands are moving all over. He does it in a hurry. He's a guy rushing it pretty good. He could probably stay back a little longer.
Base hit into right. Fastball in. Tyler Collins turned on it. First hit of the night for Tyler, and the Tigers had their first 2 on here in the 7th.
Good start to the inning for Detroit. They need to figure out a way to tie this up before they can go ahead. And Salty's going to see the shift again, even though it's a kind of a modified shift. You see Tim Anderson's going to play on shortstop side of second base. They're going to have to play in a little bit, double play depth.
Take a look at the outfield straight up on SALTALAMACCHIA. Zach Duke throwing in the bullpen, the lefty. When they can, managers like to turn SALTALAMACCHIA around and have him bat from the right side. Low batting average from both sides, but from the left side, actually a pretty productive bat this year. Low average, but a lot of walks, good power. Strike 1. First 2 on for the Tigers here in the 7th, down a run. Whoop. Salty has to jump out of the way.
In the on-deck circle, and you've seen this guy. He's had erratic control, effectively wild so far, but barely.
Changeup misses. Now the good hitters count for SALTALAMACCHIA.
This is where he definitely has to look for a part of the plate and cover that part. He has the advantage. Pitcher's behind in the count. Got runners in scoring position.
Salty make you throw him a strike. 3-1. Youngster walked Upton on a 3-1. Give up a solid line single on a 1-2 pitch to Collins. Now he's 3-1 on SALTALAMACCHIA. Swung through a fastball. The 3-2. Missed inside. Bases loaded. Nobody out in the 7th.
Don Cooper wearing out the grass, coming out to the mound again. Nobody out, so he's going to have to try to settle down this young right-hander.
Take a look at our bell tire pitch by pitch to SALTALAMACCHIA, Jack.
Well, he fastball away that he gets a great pitch on. Then he comes in off the plate away again. Salty might have helped him balls down in the zone, but he looked at it and liked it. And then he misses in again with a fastball. So it's pretty much all been fastballs from Carson Fulmer. Bases loaded, nobody out for Detroit.
Interesting. They've got Zach Duke, the veteran, up. He is a lefty. He's not going to face apparently Iglesias, but you would think they had him up for a reason. They're going to ride it out here with Fulmer, though. 7 walks, 2 intentional, plus a hit batter and a wild pitch for Sox pitchers tonight. Sweeping breaking ball away.
One thing that I think it's always interesting to me is you look at the standings, and right now Robin Ventura's Chicago White Sox 10.5 games behind Cleveland, 4th place in the Central. I think you manage a game a little different in those conditions. Your ownership, your general managers already been letting it know that they'll listen to offers for 2 of your best pitchers. So what kind of message does that send through the clubhouse? I think this is a case where maybe Robin Ventura is going to say, you know what, I'm going to let my young pitchers go a little bit further and give them a chance to get themselves out of their own mess. I think if you're in first place or in the hunt for first place, you might be more or less willing to allow them to do that. You're going to go to maybe more of your veterans in situations like this.
Foul out of play. It's a good bounce back after falling behind 2-0.
See right now, Cleveland lost tonight, so
Tigers with a chance to go 6 back.
Yeah, Chicago currently only 10 back, not 10.5.
Chicago needed 33 games to get to 23 wins. Now 23 wins in their last 62 games. 23-39 record after the 23-10 start. And that also figures into it, Jack. What direction are we heading? If you're a little above 500, you're in the wild card picture. 3 games below and fading fast, not so much. Ground ball here could be 2. A bobble, and they throw to third to get Collins, and the score comes up. An awkward looking play, but in the end that was a smart play by Anderson. He knew once he bobbled that he couldn't get 2, so he did get the man going to third.
I think this is an outstanding baseball reaction here. He doesn't get the handle on the ball. He's thinking 2, but he knows that he can beat Tyler Collins. Tyler wasn't busting his tail to third base and just sort of jogging over there, assuming that there wasn't going to be a play in front of him. Anderson saw that, flips the ball over to Todd Frazier, who easily tags Tyler Collins out.
Upton scores to tie it. Now Ian Kinsler can give the Tigers a lead.
And with that run scored, both starters in this game not pitchers of record.
Dirt. Good job by Narvaez to keep it right there. Hold the runners at first and second. Saltalamacchia the runner at second. Iglesias at first. Ian tonight 1 for 3. He's also been hit by a pitch. Scored 2 more runs. 3rd in the American League coming in. Now has 79 runs scored. Doing it all out of the leadoff spot. 4 home runs in 7 games since the break. Fastball near the outside corner gets the call.
You watch Carson Fulmer throwing right now, and I think it's one of the cases where veteran hitters dislike guys like this. They're used to major league pitchers being around the zone. Now the guys that are coming up from AAA and AA, they've seen this. They're used to guys a little bit erratic. But major league hitters are used to guys having an idea what they're doing, and when the ball's on both sides of the plate and they're jumping out of the way, and then they paint on the outside corner, it's like, oh my.
Just the 3rd time in the last 17 games the Tigers have scored more than 4 runs. Did he get hit? No, it went by him and did not hit him somehow. A wild pitch puts runners at second and third. How about this pitch?
Just a bit inside. He's already been hit in the back once, and this is headed right towards his back. I don't know how he got out of the way there.
Your natural reaction is not to dive forward when a pitch is coming up and in. You can see
I could almost read his brain saying that ball's got me. I'm going to get hit in the same spot.
Yep.
That's going to hurt.
What do you think the discussion is with Robin Ventura?
Well, it's probably with Don Cooper, and I can tell you off the air what this discussion is.
Base hit can give the Tigers a 2-run lead. Iglesias runs well. Outfield playing deep except for Eaton and Wright in a little bit. Back in fourth game, the Tigers have tied it up, trying to take the lead with one out here in the seventh. The 3-2. Ground ball to short. Anderson goes home, and perfect throw gets SALTALAMACCHIA. Another fine play by Tim Anderson.
Not an easy throw on the run to be able to throw it down right there where the catcher Narvaez is setting up. Watch this. He's on the run, throwing it back across his body, and he throws a strike to the catcher. Better look here.
Beautiful. I mean, that's just a beautiful play.
Heads up fielding there from Tim Anderson. He gets Collins at third after bobbling the ball. Another real good baseball.
Yeah, that was one of the better plays.
Play.
Yep.
And then there, he was going to go to first, I believe, and he saw that he could get him, so he threw it. Even though it was across his body on the run, he made an accurate throw.
What an inning for the rookie, Carson Fulmer. Walk, single walk, loads the bases. 1 run scores on a bounce out. He gets another ground ball off a dangerous hitter. Again falls behind. He's been falling behind almost every batter. He has fallen behind every batter except Collins.
Nate Jones now getting up and joining Zach Duke. Duke the lefty, Jones the righty. I just got a feeling that if somehow Maven gets on, Carson's not going to see Miguel Cabrera. I think that Robin will go out and get him and go with one of the other two more veteran guys to pitch to the best hitter in the lineup.
Trying to figure out why Duke has been up this inning. Three and 0. Maven now waiting on a 3-0. Not close. Another 4-pitch walk. That's 4 tonight, not including the intentional walks. Bases reloaded. Robin Ventura right near the top step. He's not making. No, he's looking out to Carson Fulmer and says, go get him. Here's a 1-800 call Sam call of the game. Miguel Cabrera, 3-hit night. It is his 200th career 3-hit game. 200.
Well, he needs.
No, Robin Ventura's changed his mind.
Yeah, I just couldn't see him pitching to Miguel here with a kid on the mound that struggled with 3 walks in an inning.
Nate Jones just got up and Ventura was just buying him time, but he clapped his hands and looked out at Fulmer. But Jones, you would think, is coming on. 5-5 tie in the 7th. The bases are loaded. Nate Jones takes over on the mound.
Sixth pitcher for the White Sox here tonight, right-hander Nate Jones. He can bring it up there. He's got a very unique delivery. He kind of just picks up his arm. It goes back and then it goes forward and the ball comes in the high 90s. You see very good numbers against right-handers, and that's why Robin Ventura goes out to get him here. Miguel Cabrera, just a great night again, a 3-hit night, looking for his 40-something 4-hit count.
There's that delivery you talk about. Just raises the arm up, fires. One of those right-handers he's had success against. This guy right here, 2 for 12 in his career against Nate Jones. Not many can make that claim, even in that limited number of at-bats. Quickly ahead 0-2. 169 pitches thrown by White Sox pitchers tonight. Talk about being due to do something with the bases loaded.
A tough year so far with bases loaded in 2016. There's the runners for the Tigers.
Iglesias, Kinsler may have been itching to come home. Shot up the gap, scores 3. That's about as good as it gets for speed on the base paths for the Tigers. 3 hits and a walk, 2 ground ball doubles, ground ball single. Miguel's been on 4 times. Jones uncomfortable.
I've always been intrigued by this. The guy's got 2 pitches. It's got to be one or the other. I mean, what's the well, quite honestly, what he's probably concerned about is location of the pitch. He probably got the right pitch, but maybe the catcher wanted it in or away and he wanted the opposite side. Either case, it's best to get it cleared up.
Pass ball, Miguel a little tardy, fouls it out of play. It's a good swing though against a live fastball. Ballpark that yields home runs to all fields. Dimensions favorable. Right-handed batter can go out to right center here as well as any ballpark in the major leagues. Good job, anticipation of the catcher. Narvaez smothered the slider in the dirt. Those numbers are this year in the 7th inning or later, and they're ordinary for Miguel, and they will get better as the season progresses. Looking to deliver a big 2-out hit here. In the dirt. Evens up the count at 2-2. We have seen some hard throwers. And we've seen some hard throwers who have not had much feel for the strike zone tonight for Chicago.
Yeah, there's been 3 errors for Chicago, a couple wild pitches already.
Shot into center field. That's going to score 2. Tigers in at 7-5. Miguel Cabrera, 2 RBIs, a 4-hit game, and 1,500 RBIs in his career.
That's just clutch. He lays off 2 tough breaking balls that are out of the zone. A lot of hitters would chase after being over anxious, and he forces Nate Jones to throw the ball over the heart of the plate, and then he doesn't miss it. That's the key. Drives it up the middle. 2-run score. Tigers in front. $1,501 for Miguel Cabrera. Many more to come. '56th player in history. And he's on pace to shoot past 2,000 within a few years. And that's rarefied air when you get there. 7-5 Tigers in the 7th. With 2 outs, Robin Ventura has walked, intentionally walked Victor Martinez twice. There's a base open and 2 outs. And here he chooses not to intentionally walk. He's going to pitch to him.
Slider in the dirt. RBIs. Miguel Cabrera is 33 years old.
MLB authenticator there to mark that ball. I don't know if it's going to the Hall of Fame or if it's going to an auction, but either case, it's worth a few bucks.
Did they ever get to just keep it?
In the old days, when the dinosaurs ran the earth and Jack Morris was still pitching, the guy would run out and grab that ball, put it in his own little collection.
Dinosaurs roam the earth. And Jack Morris is on the mound. How many milestone balls do you have? You have the no-hitter ball?
Oh, yeah. Well, my kids do. Somewhere.
Somewhere.
It disappeared from my house.
That one goes off of the catcher Narvaez. Runners to second and third. Now first base is open.
Another wild pitch.
Told you that Miguel had 200 3-hit games. That was 4-hit game 43. 43 4-hit games in his career. He's going to end up with over 3,000 hits, over 2,000 RBIs.
Almost 250 games. 2 years of baseball is about 300 some games. 320.
On the outside corner for it, called third. Tigers take the lead. Sox help with some walks, and then Miggy delivers a big 2-out hit. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. Career RBIs 1,500 and 1,501. Back and forth we go. And Ausmus turns to Alex Wilson to protect this lead in the bottom of the 7th.
Everyday Alex. He's been in 30 games so far this year. And he's going to be asked to lock it down here in the 7th inning. Probably piece it together to try to get to K-Rod in the 9th for a save opportunity.
Remember, Alex Wilson suffered the injury in the spring and just wasn't quite the same to start the season. And he's really gotten in a nice stretch going back to the last game of May. Really, since then, 17 games covering 21 innings. With what we've gotten used to seeing, a lot of routine innings, 1.29 ERA. Alex was saying earlier this year, Jack, that he was getting that strike one or the easy out on the cutter away from righties last year. Great regularity. They started laying off it this year, and he kept falling behind hitters. So he really had to make a change of his own this year, and it took him a while because that was his bread and butter pitch. He's ahead of Anderson here, 1-2. And boy, he's made the adjustment, and this is a very valuable arm out of the bullpen.
And it's a game of adjustments. And adjusting to failure is part of that game too.
Through 18 appearances, Alex had a 6 ERA. And again, last 21 innings, just 3 runs allowed.
I just checked the weather. It's cooled way down to 83 degrees. Still feels like 91.
I thought it felt a little cool.
But it's a perfect night for the guys in the pen. You know, they're going to lather up fairly quick. They're going to get loose. And no stiffness, no wind drying them out. So overall, really a good night to pitch.
This pitch is close. Guaranteed Anderson will be swinging.
Good call.
Kinsler to Cabrera. Just after 11 back home, we're at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago. Along with Jack Morris, I'm Dan Dickerson. Mario Impemba's a couple of booths down. We're swapping spots for the weekend. Rod Allen will be joining us for the next couple of days. Jack, this has been a good couple of days.
It has been. I've had an interesting week, but a fun week. Good to see the Tigers in position to maybe win the first 2 games of this series.
Justin Wilson warming in the Tigers bullpen. Melky Cabrera at the plate. Perfect pitch. And that's what we got used to seeing from Alex. Just pinpoint location with his fastball.
I would have loved to have seen Melky. He kind of fake bunted, tried to draw Nick Castellanos in a little. I'd have loved to have seen him try to lay one down. That'd have been humorous.
Not think he's got too many bunt base hits in recent years.
I watched him for a whole year in Toronto. Every day in batting practice. I don't think he ever tried to bunt.
Not even in batting practice.
Never. Never. So he's going to lay one down now. Beautiful.
Cabrera pretty good from both sides in his career. Better right-handed this year. Cutter misses. A couple of hits tonight for Cabrera. Came in hitting a little over 300. And he's having a fairly typical Melky Cabrera type season. Extra base, occasional home run power, hitting for average. Won't walk a whole lot. Jam job, soft fly ball right to Cameron Maybin. Didn't have to move a step. 2 easy outs.
So Alex Wilson comes into the game throwing strikes, getting ahead and challenging the hitters. Receives a couple of quick outs. Abreu having a pretty good night himself with a pair of hits and a walk. Scored a run in that 4-run 5th inning for Chicago. Picked up an RBI.
Starts him off with a fastball away. That was an impressive piece of hitting that double, Jack. You described the fastball in, but pulls the hands in, drives it down the line.
He's strong.
Third year of a 6-year deal for Abreu. Burst onto the scene at 27 after defecting from Cuba. Monster year. Numbers fell off a little bit last year, and they've fallen off a little more this year. talk about a game of adjustments, and at 29, Jack, here's a guy who probably has to make an adjustment because the league is adjusted to Jose Abreu, and he's not nearly the fearsome hitter that he's been.
That's why when you look at guys like David Ortiz, who at age 63 or whatever he is at this year. Sorry, David, I know it's only 40-something. But still, as productive as he is, and granted, he's very limited, but he's not the true baseball guy. He can't play the field, he can't throw it, can't run hardly at all, but he doesn't have to run when he hits the way he's hit this year. And that's, you know, you can learn a lot from guys like that and what they've done to adjust throughout their entire career.
The 0-2. Soft ground ball to short. Iglesias charges, scoops, has a little trouble getting out of his glove, and it's going to cost him. He might not have gotten him anyway.
Well, he would have had to get it out of his glove perfect to get him. It's going to go down as a hit. He's got to go out of his way, but you can see there, took 2 steps to try to locate that ball out of his glove, and then he doesn't throw a strike. Abreu, it's out of the box quick.
Did everything right, charged it, scooped it. Just couldn't get it out of the glove. Brad Ausmus waited, but he definitely wants the lefty to face the lefty. Tigers lead by 2 in the 7th.
By Miller Lite. Miguel Cabrera, top of the 7th inning, a couple base runners on, 1 swing of the bat. He picks up RBI number 1500 and 1501, puts the Tigers in front. And what a joy it's been for Tiger fans to watch this guy's career.
The path that he is on in his production. We're looking the other day, Jack, where he could be in 5 years. 38. And he certainly, there's a good chance he's going to be a productive hitter at 38. He could be in the top 10 in any major category you care to name. Home runs, RBIs, hits. Pretty impressive what he's done already at 33. Justin Wilson.
Yeah, the left-handed Wilson's going to come in now. Alex leaves and gives way to Justin.
First lefty that Morneau has faced in a long time. Justin Wilson, not your situational lefty, gets out lefties, righties equally well. That's why he's so valuable in the late innings for the Tigers. You would think if he could get a quick out here, Brad Ausmus can use him in the 8th inning ahead of K-Rod. One and one. 3-run home run for Justin Morneau. Injury shortened year last year as his first home run since mid-May of last year. Lefties have really been a problem for him since the concussion problems began in 2010. Pitch in the dirt. It was better last year, but most years lefties have done a job against Justin Morneau. You said last night, though, it's amazing he's back after all the issues that he had.
Well, I know him so well, and to know that he didn't give up on it, that he has the love and passion for this game, still feels like he's got something left to contribute, and he did tonight with that home run of his.
Ground ball here and a high chop backing up onto the outfield grass to play. Kinsler throws him out, and Wilson gets the last out of the 7th. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. By Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. And by Infinity. Visit your local Detroit area Infinity retailer for a test drive today. Tigers by 2 as we go to the 8th. 3 runs last inning, wiped out a White Sox 5-4 lead. Avisail Garcia in right. We saw Adam Eaton continuing to look like he was bothered by that ball that had gone off his ankle earlier, and that might be the reason he's out of this game at this point.
7th inning for the Chicago White Sox. Manager Robin Ventura going to Zach Duke in his 49th game. So they've got 2 guys left. We're probably going to see them here before this is all said and done.
Nobody has worked more than an inning. Jacob Turner lasted just 3 1/3. We saw some good stuff, but wildly inconsistent results. 4 runs on 5 hits, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. Castellanos takes a breaking ball strike. Duke gets out righties better than lefties. There's a shot deep in the hole at short. Anderson dives from his knees, throws, not in time. Oh my goodness.
What an arm. He doesn't need legs.
How much can you get on a throw while you're on your knees in the
apparently.
outfield?
If Nick Castellanos isn't hustling down here, he's out. Gets that ball and on one knee throws a rocket over to a Brady.
I think he wanted to stay on his feet, Jack, because he didn't realize he didn't really have to dive. That's as close as it gets at first. A parade of base runners tonight. A 1-2-3 second inning stands out for the Tigers because it's the only inning when the Tigers haven't had a base runner. They've had multiple base runners in all the other innings. Soft ground ball here should be 2. There it is. 2 outs, bases empty. Anderson has been a star tonight at short. 2 defensive gems.
You know, it's good to see him smile. This game should be fun, and you know, when you got young guys like Saladino and Anderson out there, they're doing what they love to do, but they're having fun doing it also.
He just looks like one of those guys that brings energy to a team with his play and actions in the field, speed on the base paths. Soft ground ball, and that's a quick inning for Zach Duke. 5-pitch inning. Tigers hold on to the lead. Matt Boyd against Chris Sale tomorrow. Chris Sale, the subject of hot and heavy trade rumors today. We'll assume he's here tomorrow. Tigers would mind if he was traded away.
Well, he's a good one. He started out his year phenomenally. Started the All-Star game for the American League this year. Matt Boyd coming off a great start where he went 6 innings, only allowed 3 hits, a shutout ball, 7 strikeouts and 1 walk. So that ought to be a good one.
He's really made 2 important starts, Matt Boyd has, for the Tigers. On the same day, the Tigers lost Norris and Zimmerman before the break, and he started in Toronto. That's not an easy matchup for a lefty. Even though it was 5 innings, it was only 1 run. And then the start that you mentioned, filling in the rotation. And the Tigers rotation right now has really done a nice job. Fulmer had a bit of a rough start tonight, a rarity. 6 of 7 starts out of the break have been very good. Frazier takes the pitch high. 6, 7, 8 hitters. Frazier, Shuck, and Saladino. Bottom part of the order has been quiet outside of Narvaez, the catcher, single and a walk. These 3 hitters, Frazier, Shuck, Saladino, combined 0 for 9. Alex Wilson falls behind 2-0. He just pounds the strike zone. Cut his walks last year. He's cut his walks again in half this year, while maintaining the high strikeouts. Oh, that's a good pitch. Cutter down. 2-2 on Frazier.
Frazier having trouble with the ball down tonight. He's had a lot of good breaking balls down out of the zone that he's chased. He's one of those guys that hunts fastballs and tries to jump on you early.
Ground ball to Nick here. Nice big hop. Out number 1. Send it down to Mickey York for our look ahead to the Tigers live post game.
Yeah, Dan, coming up after the game, Trevor Thompson and Craig Moreau in the studio breaking down a big night from the big fella. I'll be in the clubhouse talking to the players and Brad Ausmus, all the highlights, more with Dan and Jack as well, coming up after the game on Tigers Live, fellas.
Thanks, Mickey. Tigers trying to make it 2 straight, start of a 7-game road trip. Sox team that's been struggling, especially offensively. Tigers gave up the 4 runs in the 5th inning. Right now, Jack, though, this lineup looks fairly pitchable. Well, they've scored 5 tonight. But it's an offense that has been really quiet since the break and even going into the break.
Yeah, really, you can go back and probably until the month of the end of May. That's they played their best baseball the first 2 months of the year, and a lot different brand of baseball since then. So that's one of the reasons that they're entertaining offers. Pretty much of, I mean, if they're going to put Chris Sale out there on the market and say he's available, everybody's available.
Absolutely. Broken back, ground ball to second. Kinsler charges and flips to get the speedy J.B. Shuck. Here's our high-speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity. Justin Wilson's got a power arm, the high-low, the fastball, and the cutter, and that's really pretty much it for Justin Wilson. Works pretty well for him, Jack.
You know, you look at Justin and you say to yourself, no, he doesn't throw 96, but he does, and he just showed you there with that last pitch. Just absolutely ate up the bat of J.B. Shuck. My favorite sound of all time. You can take 10 strikeouts, give me 1 broken bat, and I feel way better.
The sweetest sound for a pitcher.
Yeah, unless your teammate's up there, then you're going, come on.
Saladino's 0 for 3. But he keeps that ball down. That one's running into a righty. You can see why he's so tough. Righties, lefties. It doesn't matter for Justin Wilson. Never really has.
2 quick strikes, working ahead. This has been a long game. 11 pitchers in the game, 7 for the White Sox. Justin Wilson, the 4th one for the Tigers. And that alone will last a half hour just watching the guys walk in from the bullpen.
The 0-2. A little up and in.
You think they'll ever, you know, they're talking about it all the time, how baseball can speed up the pace of game. There's a good way, you know, limit the number of pitches you can use.
Just 2.
3 guys per team. Look out.
Up the middle and past Kinsler into center. Tyler Saladino with a 2-out single here in the 8th inning.
Justin Wilson throws his fist into his glove. He's a little mad that he wasn't able to field this ball, but I can tell you, you're kind of seeing a changeup come back at you, and you're expecting a fastball, and you just sort of throw your glove at it, and yet the ball isn't quite there yet. I've had that happen. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
You think it's going to crush you, and it isn't even there yet.
It's never a good feeling, is it? The ball coming off the bat right back at you.
You know,
especially at your head.
There's what, 35 feet on each side, left and right of the pitcher's mound. You know, there's 2 guys on the left side, shortstop, third baseman. There's 2 guys on the right side, second baseman, first baseman. Why in the world would you want the ball hit back at you? These guys are paid good money to catch the ball. I'm just paid to throw the darn thing.
Deanna Navarro will pinch hit for the lefty Narvaez. Swing in a foul tip into the glove of Saltalamacchia. Navarro better as a right-hander this year, and throughout his career more power from the right side. He represents the potential tying run. Justin Wilson, one of the reasons he's so effective and so valuable, gets lefties and righties out and limits the extra base power in a big way. Swing and a miss. Navarro 1 for 3 in his career against Justin Wilson. 5 home runs this year for Navarro. 2-out single has Saladino at first. Tigers lead by 2 in the 8th. Oh, nice job. Cutter down, swing and a miss. Single does no harm. Tigers lead by 2. All right, thanks, Trev. SALTALAMACCHIA, Iglesias, Kinsler to face Zach Duke. 3 infielders on the left side for the White Sox. Long night for SALTALAMACCHIA behind the plate. Deanna Navarro, the new catcher. A lot of pitches thrown, especially by Sox pitchers. Narvaez might have just worn out. That's why they went to Navarro.
Yeah. 7 pitchers, all throwing in the 90s. They finally get Zach Duke, can barely break 85. And, well, there's 87.
Noah gets loose. That's another power arm. 3-0 on SALTALAMACCHIA. A gift strike on the outside corner. JARROD's 0 for 3 plus a walk. Fly ball here, but well foul. He hit it a mile. The walk was actually a key walk in a 6-pitch battle in the 7th inning. It loaded the bases, and the Tigers are now to score the 3 runs that wiped out a 5-4 Sox lead. The last 2 coming on a Cabrera. Bases loaded, 2 out. 2-run single. The 3-2. Off speed and in the dirt, gets the strikeout. Let's take a look at the big boys' big play of the game, and we go back to the 7th inning. The shortstop Tim Anderson, the 2 fine plays that he made, Jack.
Well, he bobbled the ball there, but he had the mindset to look to his right, get the forced run. Tyler Collins wasn't really busting his tail there. And then Salty running home here. He's able to throw across his body, throw a perfect strike to the catcher, and get a great play made and save a run right there.
To see that in real-time speed, you just realize what a fine athletic play that was. As you said, going toward his momentum, going toward first, throwing back across his body. And I mean, if you throw it anywhere else, he might not get SALTALAMACCHIA at the plate. And he threw it absolutely perfectly up the third base line, about a foot. Iglesias showing bunt. I'd like to see him try this a little bit more, Jack. I know he pulled the bat back, but
yeah, I mean, it certainly could enhance his offense a little. I don't think he needs to do it all the time, but you know, the elements of surprise, I think everybody should do it a little more than they do. Quite honestly, I think it's a lost art in baseball. Very, very few guys can lay down a bunt. We saw it a lot more in a generation or two past. A guy like Rod Carew, 328 lifetime hitter. I bet he got 200 bunts.
This one chopped foul, and Jose Iglesias, the year the Tigers traded for him, had 10 bunt base hits. There was a while where he was starting to lay down a few more bunts, but I think he ended the first half with just the one bunt base hit.
What bunting does is force you to track the ball to point of contact. You have to do it, and sometimes guys that are in a slump, swinging, pulling off, track the ball in, you're going to see it a little longer. It might get you back on track with your bat swing.
Foul hero by the Sox dugout when Francisco Lindor came up, Jack, with Cleveland last year. He was bunting a lot, and Terry Francona said I really wanted him to maybe not bunt as much, but he didn't say anything. And then he started to swing away, but Francisco Lindor said that exact thing. Yeah. Bunting that much helped him track Major League pitching. And then he had the big final 2 months. Sixth pitch of the at-bat is ball 2. Fair ball down the left field line. Extra bases for Iglesias as Melky Cabrera fields. What a good at-bat. It's the Magic Moonshot presented by Magic Window. We go back to last night, 5th inning. Ian Kinsler had quite the battle, and he won it in the end.
He certainly did. The previous pitch to that, he went out and got a pitch that he fouled the right field line, and then the mistake was left over the plate a little bit more. He just centered it up straightaway center, and he hit it all the way to that thing.
It was the first fastball he saw from James Shields in that at-bat, and it was a 9-pitch batter. Kinsler steps in, chance to add to his 7-5 lead in the 9th. One for 4 for Ian. He scored twice. Hit by a curveball on the back and seen another curveball go behind his back. Both tonight. Shot here, foul. Indians have lost, so Tigers have a chance to be 6 back with a win. Kansas City beat Texas. Minnesota, after getting thumped yesterday, beat Boston, the rare 2-1 win over that team in that ballpark. There haven't been many of those.
Maybe loft one into right field. Iglesias runs well enough. Pick up an RBI, another insurance run.
The 1-2. Fastball away. Ian not happy with himself. 2 outs, man on second for Cameron Maybin, who's been on 3 times tonight. Head down to Mickey York.
All right, Dan, this is what you've been waiting for. When the team returns home from the road trip, they will kick off the first Emoji T-shirt Fridays. The first one will feature Cameron Maybin on July 29th. We showed Cameron his T-shirt today. He absolutely loved it. In fact, he asked if he could have that one. I said, sorry, no, that's for promotional purposes only. It's all part of a special ticket package and includes a game ticket and T-shirt. A different player will be featured every Friday until September 23rd. More on Cameron's reaction to that T-shirt tomorrow on Tigers Live, guys.
Thanks, Mickey. Promotional purposes only. You broke his heart.
How can you do that, man? Come on.
That was pitch number 201 by Sox pitchers tonight, delivered by Zach Duke.
Is that good?
Only if you played 18 innings.
Yeah.
Average game features somewhere in the 150 range of pitches. 145, 155. A lot of games will fall in that range. 200. It's a long night for the guy behind the plate, and it is a new catcher, Navarro. Will flare into right. Will it drop? Nope. Coming in Garcia to make the catch. Francisco Rodriguez getting ready to come on to close this one out. Lead to the bottom of the ninth inning. Francisco Rodriguez on to close this one out.
Well, he's looking for save number 27. He's 26 for 28 in save opportunities. Having a heck of a year, really. I don't know if anybody would have predicted that he would have the first half that he's had, but it's been great for the Tigers to have a guy they can depend on late in the game. Andrew Romine taking over for Nick Castellanos at third base.
Adam Eaton out of the game. Avisaíl Garcia will bat for the first time. Got off to a decent start, and it has been a struggle for the former Tiger for the last month and a half, really 2 months for Avisaíl Garcia. He takes strike one. Francisco Rodriguez has given up 4 home runs this year. 2 came in a game in April. Then he put together the great streak, 27 innings with a 1.60 ERA, no home runs, and then he gave up 2 more home runs his last time out. 2 different games where he gave up 2 home runs each time. Looking to bounce back after the rare off night, and he's ahead of Garcia. No balls, 2 strikes. Sox have to figure out what to do with Avisaíl Garcia. He's still just 25, but is going in the wrong direction with his offensive numbers.
Well, we talked about it, Dan. A lot of this ball game, we talked about guys making adjustments. And, you know, Garcia's going to have to take a good hard look in the mirror and say, what am I doing? And what can I do to get back up and turn these numbers around? He's getting less and less time defensively.
Austin Jackson goes down, and he's still not playing a whole lot as J.B. Shuck gets the playing time.
Shuck in center. Now they get Justin Morneau, so the DH spot.
Yeah.
Maybe going to lose some time there also.
And that's really what he'd been relegated to. Just DHing. Garcia, Anderson, Melky, Cabrera here in the ninth, with the Tigers leading by 2. The 2-2. Got him. Garcia didn't like the call, might have had a beef. It's a called third for out number 1.
The ball starts outer half, but I think it runs across the plate, comes in the upper quadrant. You can see number 5 there on Fox Tracks, shows that it is a strike.
What a good pitch. Nice job by SALTALAMACCHIA too, Jack, framing that pitch.
There's the changeup right there. Well, if you're a young Michael Fulmer and you're watching a veteran pitcher and Francisco Rodriguez get save after save after save and barely touching the mid-80s, you're saying to yourself, I got to learn that pitch. And maybe K-Rod showed him, you know, the grip. Sure, you're always talking to your teammates about certain things, and they'll willingly show you what's working for them.
The teaching that always goes on, the lessons that you can pass on, it's generation to generation. That's the beauty of this game. You can learn a lot from talking to Francisco Rodriguez. Whether it's how to throw a changeup, and he throws one of the best in the game, he still gets plenty of swings and misses. Or as Shane Green has found out, how you handle the late innings. Shane Green gives this guy a lot of credit as Shane Green transitions to a new role. He's always been a starter. Anderson waits on the 1-2. Got another changeup. Jackie's always changing speeds of the changeup, 80 to 85. So it's a little different to righties and lefties.
Can I guarantee you that if he throws a strike here, he's going to be swinging?
It's a pretty easy call to make.
Yeah.
When guys walk twice. Twice.
Change up. Let's see what happens.
He swung, and he got it. 2 up, 2 down on strikeouts for Francisco Rodriguez.
That was a beautiful pitch right there. That changeup is what really has kept Francisco Rodriguez around. Great arm action, perfect location.
Two outs in the ninth. Tigers trying to make it 2 straight to start this 7-game road trip and 4-game series in Chicago. A fastball strike on the outside corner. Fouled on the third base line. Ooh. Corey Blazer, that's always tough. Umpires got to move to get out of the way and make the call.
It's right at his feet. I mean, you know, unless it hits his foot and he's in fair territory, but first job, get out of the way. Don't get hurt. This is like focus. See the focus? Pretty easy call. It's croquet, isn't it? Right between the fence posts.
That's right, the wickets. Big curveball. 1-2. Fulmer started a rare night where he gave up more than 2 runs. What a job by the bullpen tonight. The 1-2. Wouldn't bite on the changeup. Abreu waiting on deck. One base runner. The potential tying run gets to the plate. Abreu's got 3 hits tonight. Switch hitter batting lefty against the right. The 2-2. Pop up and out of play as Romine comes over to get a better look at where it lands. Tigers can pick up a game on the Indians with a win here tonight. They're 1 strike away from doing that. Long look in for K-Rod.
That's a changeup away.
Got it. Ground ball to third. Gobbled up by Romine. Tigers make it 2 straight in Chicago. Jack, terrific bullpen work on a night where Miggy reaches another milestone.
Well, good for Miggy picking up the guys. You mentioned that Michael Fulmer wasn't really on par with the outstanding pitching. It can't last forever, but he still battled. And you got to tip your hat to the Tiger bullpen for what they did in this game, including Francisco Rodriguez, who picks up another save at the back end of this game. But good effort. Good start to the series.
Tigers Live coming up right around the corner.